A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
And now, the life of Mary Sothern. We'd like to tell you a little of what has happened so that you who are new friends of Mary Sothern may enjoy this important chapter. Today, Phyllis, Max's sister, is to receive her final examination by Dr. DeRoy, a famous specialist. Mary persuaded this great doctor to come to the little town of Sanders, and she is earnestly praying that he will be able to help the invalid girl to walk again. While preparations for the examination have been taking place, other things have been happening. Cheney, a gambler who was wanted by the law, but who was instrumental in securing the great doctor for Phyllis, has paid 2 mysterious visits to Sanders. On his last visit, he told Mary he wanted to go straight. He would like to give himself up. Naturally, Mary is in sympathy with the man, but if he returns to jail, Max must stand trial with him, as Max was innocently involved in the gambling race. Cheney decided to remain a fugitive, rather than ruin everything for Mary and Max at this time. In the meantime, however, Henrietta Proust, wife of a business enemy of Max's, saw Cheney leave Daddy Stratford's hotel, and she lost no time in making sure he was the wanted gambler. What she will do remains to be seen. We open today's story in the little white Stratford bungalow. Mary is with Phyllis as they wait for Dr. DeRoy. She is arranging some flowers as we listen.
Look, Phyllis, aren't they lovely? Mr. Barton must have bought every flower in Mr. Colangelo's flower shop.
Mr. Barton's such a grand person, Mary. Don't you think I ought to phone and thank him right away?
Well, I don't believe you could reach him, dear. He and Max are at the factory. Rather, they're by that nice big hole in the ground where the factory's going to be.
I thought they were pouring the foundation last week.
Well, they tried to, but some machinery broke down, so they're starting today.
Oh, I guess that means Max will be busy all day.
Oh, not too busy to come out and see you later on, dear. Dr. DeRoy thought it better to have as few people as possible in the house while he examined it.
I suppose he knows best. Mary, I think I'm just a little shaky.
Why, darling, just think how we've hoped and prayed for the day. The past couple of weeks we thought of hardly anything.
I know, but... Oh, Mary, when you finish fixing those flowers, will you come over here and sit down? I want to talk.
Be through in a jiffy, dear. There. Don't those yellow mums look simply gorgeous in that blue vase? Like big gobs of sunshine.
They brighten up the whole room. Oh, Danny will be crazy about them, too.
There. Now that my chores are finished, we can talk. Want anything for us to down, Phyllis?
Just be near me so I can say what I want to.
How's this?
That's fine.
Now your hands are cold, dear. Oh, let me rub them.
Mary, I'm afraid I'm going to act like a baby.
I think it might be a good thing if you did, dear. Keeping things pent up inside us isn't good. We can let them come out at such a relief.
Isn't that exactly? I don't want to cry or carry on. I want to make some plans, just in case.
Before you do, Phyllis, will you listen to something I have to say first?
Okay.
Regardless of what Dr. DeRoy's opinion may be after the examination, you mustn't forget that he's a human being. So, he can make a mistake. No matter what he says, you should keep on believing and have faith. It's the only way, Phyllis.
All right, Mary, I'll try. I'll try not to let anything discourage me.
Good. Now, what do you want to tell me, dear?
Oh, there isn't very much. I was going to ask you to help my Danny if anything happened to me, and to see that my babies weren't brought up in an orphanage. Well, I can't talk about those things the way I intended because I feel differently now.
You won't need anyone else to look after your family, darling. You will be able to do it.
That's it. I feel ever so much better. Will you phone Danny? I thought I didn't want him here when Dr. DeRoy came, but now I do.
He's at the hotel, isn't he?
Yeah. Tell him to hurry over.
He'll come on wings. Hello? Operator, will you get me Maine 8286?
Answer that, will you, Danny?
Okay, Daddy. Hello? Oh, hello, Mary. How's Phyllis? Doctor come yet? Well, he should be soon. What? She does? Oh, boy, I'll be right over. And kiss her for me, will you? No, never mind. Let her wait till I get there. Well, goodbye.
What's up, Danny boy? Did Dr. DeRoy get there?
Not yet, but Philly wants me with her. You know how women are. They want their men around. She had Mary call.
Yeah, that's good. Now, you go right over and be with her, Danny boy.
I wish you could come along, Daddy.
Yeah, maybe I'll pop in later. No sense in too many of us being underfoot while the doctor's here. Just getting away.
Oh, I know. We'd be helpful, Pop.
You better let Dr. DeRoy do all the helping. Now, you just stick around where Phyllis can have you if she needs you.
Okie doke. Anything I can do before I go?
Well, if you meet Max on your way home, you might ask him to stop in here.
Well, I'll probably see him when I pass the factory site. You want him right away?
Yeah. Maybe you better tell him it's important.
Anything wrong, Daddy?
I don't know, son. Maybe Max will be able to find out.
Well, can't you tell me what it's all about?
It's no use worrying you, Danny. You forget it.
Now, listen here. I'm a man, and if something's going on in this family, I should be in on it.
Well, I ain't sure what is happening, son. Well, that Henrietta Proust has been prowling around looking for trouble, and I think maybe she's run into something.
Oh, that one.
Yeah, that one. Damn old busybody. I think she saw Cheney coming out of here the other day.
That's all we need. If that old snoop knows that Cheney's been coming to town to see Mary and Max, we're sunk.
Well, then we're sunk. Because she was in Torrance's jail yesterday looking at the rogues gallery.
Well, what was the idea?
Oh, I guess she wanted to be sure how Cheney looked. Torrance said she pounced on his picture like she'd found a $100 bill.
That sounds bad.
And that ain't all. She paid me a visit, too.
Say, where was I while all this was going on?
Oh, probably thinking up new names to call Phyllis.
Oh.
It's just as well you went here. You might have got into an argument. And it ain't polite to argue with a woman.
I guess she did a lot of talking through her nose. Really now, Mr. Stratford, Oh. Give me a pain.
Yeah, she's got me kind of hit up, too. She came in saying how she was head of the civic betterment, something or other, and she wanted to look around.
Did you let her?
Sure. I told her to go ahead, and then she started making cracks and said the place was laid out nice and private, and it'd make a good hiding place.
She saw Cheney, all right. That crack proves it.
Sounds that way. It's got me worried, too. She could get me into a heap of trouble if she found some way to make the police believe I'd been hiding Cheney here.
Yeah, she could at that. That comes under the heading of obstructing justice.
Yeah, I wonder if they could take my license away and make me close up.
Gee, you can't tell what they'd do. Why, we might all go to jail for harboring a criminal.
Well, she's got to prove it first.
But you couldn't say he hadn't been here. He was here.
Well, I didn't see him.
No, but Mary did. They might arrest her.
Well, now, Benny, don't go piling things up now. You keep this under your hat, and we'll do what we have to when the time comes. Maybe nothing will come of it.
Okay, but don't keep me in the dark. I got a brain, too, remember?
Thanks for reminding me, Danny boy. I almost forgot.
Huh?
You better trot along, Danny, and give Phyllis my love and tell her everything's going to be fine.
No, I will, Daddy. So long.
What time is it now, Mary?
Oh, a little after 10. Dr. DeRoy will be here any minute now.
Oh, there's my Danny.
Hi, little cherry blossom. Doctor here, Mary?
No, not yet, Danny.
We're counting the seconds until that doorbell rings.
Well, now, don't you start getting nervous. Why, that doorbell is going to be like the overture to a swell new show.
Say, Danny's got something there, Phyllis.
Sure, just let the old Stratford imagination get going. Now, the doorbell will ring and up goes the curtain. Act 1, Dr. Louis DeRoy, who will perform a little magic for the folks. Presto, bingo, bolly-bo, jingo. And the lovely lady is walking in.
Then Act 2, the lady sings. And she'll be so happy, she'll keep on singing.
And then we'll have Act 3. Boy and girl together. Just as it should be. And they lived happily ever after.
Oh, what a production. It's scrumptious, Dan. Say, you look like Teddy Lamar in that hospital.
Mary made it for me.
Well, a new play deserves a new costume.
I only hope I don't forget the part I have to play.
Not a chance. You'll be a terrific hit.
And the show will be a success, darling. I just know it will.
Yes, Phyllis's little show is about to begin. Will Dr. DeRoy's examination be the first step in her climb back to health? We must realize that even in the event he does find hope of her being cured, it will not be accomplished overnight. But let's not think about that now. The important thing is, has she a chance?
Adventures in Time and Space. Transcribed in future tense. Dimension X. When the first space rocket lands on Mars, what will we find? Will we be welcomed with open arms, or will the Martians treat us as invaders? Only one thing is certain. Someday a giant metal ship will take off from Earth to travel through the black velocities, the silent gulfs of space, to descend at last into the darkness of the upper Martian atmospheres. And on that day, man will finally know the answers. The day we first land on Mars.
Now hear this. Approaching critical deceleration. Fasten gravity suits. Stand by to land.
Mr. Lustig, what do you make of the terrain?
There seems to be a heavy ground, Miss Captain. We won't be able to use our infrared lights.
And we'll have to come in on radar.
Isn't that a little risky, sir, landing in the dark?
I'd rather run the danger of a blind landing, Lieutenant, than come in without the cover of darkness. Remember, we don't know what kind of reception is waiting for us down there.
Airspeed 500. Altitude now 4,000.
Bridge to engine room. Stand by for deceleration.
Engine room, aye.
Fire forward tubes 1 and 3.
Aye.
Skids down.
Skids check. Altitude 500. 4. 350. 3.
Up a point now. All right. Let's set her down. Look out! Cut the power. Masters pipe battle stations.
Aye, sir.
All secured, sir.
Well, we're on Mars. April 20th, 1987. 4:33 Greenwich time. Enter that in the log, Masters.
Aye, sir.
Well, gentlemen, it's less than 2 hours till dawn. As soon as it's light, we'll send out a landing party. Masters, get me an all-over hookup.
All set, Captain.
Now hear this. All right, men. The smoking lamp is lit. We're 17 men on an alien world. And it's up to us whether we ever get home again. Next few hours should tell the story. And I want instant obedience to all commands. I'll court-martial the first man who doesn't jump to when he's ordered. And one other thing. We may be on Mars, but this is still a United States naval vessel. Officers will conduct a personal and weapons inspection in 1 hour. That's all.
Inspection, Captain. Now?
Mr. Lustig, we've got an hour and a half to sweat out before we find out what's outside that airlock. I'd rather have a man worried about his stripes than about what's waiting outside on Mars.
Now hear this. Landing party report to forward airlock. Captain Black, Lieutenant Hingston, Lieutenant Lustig, and Dr. Horst report immediately to forward airlock. It is now landing time -5.
Sounds like they're paging us, Hingston. You ready, Dr. Horst?
Yes. Ready as I will ever be.
Oh, come on. Let's report to the airlock.
4 minutes to go. Hey, where's the captain?
Who knows? What difference does it make?
Just want to get it over with, that's all. Has anybody got a cigarette?
I think you're smoking too much, Lieutenant Lustig. Are you nervous?
Lay off, will you, Horst?
Wondering what's hidden outside underneath that ground mist? Very unusual planet, Mars.
Why?
It has an atmosphere. Wonderful thing, an atmosphere. Where you find one, you find life.
You mean Martians?
What do you think they'll look like?
Who knows? Intelligent life can take many forms.
You mean they may have green skins and eyes on stalks or something?
A comic book conception is possible. Or they may have developed to a point that is far beyond us. Perhaps they have a science that can produce weapons far more dangerous than our atomic missiles.
You think we may have to fight our way out?
After all, we are invaders.
Now hear this. Landing time -2. Landing
All
time
right.
-2.
We heard this. I know what I'd like to find outside that airlock. Good old Illinois. You ever been there, Lustig?
Only Chicago.
Oh, you ought to see my hometown. Green lawns, big white houses.
Sounds like my hometown.
My grandmother used to have one of those iron deers on the lawn. Every Halloween we'd paint it another color. One time we painted it black and white like a Holstein cow.
Where does your family live, Horst?
I have no family. When I was a child, they were gassed to death in the Dachau concentration camp.
That's tough.
Oh, it has its advantages. I have no ties on Earth. Nothing to lose now. I imagine I'm the only one on board who is free to enjoy our present peculiar position.
All right, Lustig. You can button it up now.
Aye, sir.
Now, gentlemen, in 1 minute we'll be the first men to set foot on Mars. Quite an honor, eh?
As long as the medals are not awarded posthumously.
Still uneasy, Dr. Horst?
Captain Black, I've been uneasy ever since I can remember. On Earth and on Mars.
Yeah. 30 seconds. Give me the intercom phone, Lustig. Masters?
Aye, sir.
Battle stations will be manned till we return. If we're not back in 2 hours, I want no rescue party sent out. Blast off and save the ship, you understand?
Aye, sir.
All right, gentlemen. 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Lustig, open the outer airlock.
Fresh air.
Let's go. Hold it now. It's too dark to move fast.
Quiet, isn't it? Not even a wind.
You can't see anything through this ground mist.
Quiet.
We don't know what's out here. Come on.
What the...
Quiet, Captain. I could swear that sounded like a rooster.
I don't hear it anymore.
A very unlikely sound. A rooster crowing on Mars?
Kingston.
Aye, sir.
Set that machine gun 25 yards to the flank. We'll stay here till the ground mist lifts.
Aye, sir.
What do you make of the ground, Horst?
Grass. Plain grass. You can see some large foliage. There, where the mist's thinned down.
What the heck is that? Hicksman! Hold your fire, you fool! What? Some kind of wild animal. I hit it. I could see the tracers, but it's still standing.
Come on, Horst. Doctor, where are you?
Up ahead. Admiring the wild animal.
Careful, Horst. Wait for us.
Don't worry, Captain.
It's an iron deer. A lawn ornament.
That's impossible.
It's hollow. Interesting, isn't it? A whitewashed Victorian iron deer sitting on a lawn in the middle of Mars.
I don't understand.
Look around. The mist's lifting.
Captain, look there. A house, a regular old-fashioned house.
On Mars.
Good Lord. I haven't seen carved scrolls and gingerbread like that in years. Look at that porch swing. The geraniums.
There. I told you it was a rooster, Captain.
Give me the glasses, Lustig. I want to take a look through that front window. What? There's an upright piano. Some sheet music on it.
Lustig, it's beautiful Ohio. Beautiful Ohio? That can't be.
Look here, Horace, do you think that civilizations of two planets could be identical?
I don't know. That specific variety of geraniums is only 50 years old on Earth.
Is it logical they should develop in Mars? How about that porch swing, that piano, and beautiful Ohio?
No, it's impossible.
Captain Black, this looks like the town I was born in.
Well, it looks like my hometown, too.
I've thought of something, sir. It's the only solution. Maybe we're not the first ship to reach Mars from Earth. That's the only answer.
That's impossible, Lustig. If there'd been space travel, it couldn't be secret. Do you have any idea what ships cost, what industrial power is needed? There's got to be some logical reason.
Captain, I think perhaps we might find out. A light just went on in that house.
Kingston, cover that door with the machine gun.
Aye, sir.
Come on, Horace. We'll ring that doorbell. There's got to be a scientific answer to all of this.
There's something moving in there.
Stand back, Horace. Give me a clear shot. Maybe a Martian.
Can I help you?
We were looking...
Well, if you're selling anything, it's much too early.
No, wait a minute. What town is it?
What do you mean? Are you census takers?
No, we're strangers here. We want to know how this town got here.
It is a game.
No, it's not a game. We're from Earth.
From where?
From Earth.
Do you mean out of the ground? Hey, are you sure you're feeling well?
Madam, we came in a flying ship across space. We're from the third planet. This is Mars. Now, do you understand? Mars.
You go away now, you hear? I'll call my husband from upstairs, and he'll chase you. Now,
but
go on.
This is Mars, isn't it?
This is Green Lake, Wisconsin, in the United States of America. Bounded on the east by the Atlantic and on the west by the Pacific. Now, go away. Goodbye.
Horace, do you suppose it's really possible? I've got to find out more about this.
For the last time, now, go away.
Pardon me, madam. What year is this?
Year? What, 1928, of course. Oh, for goodness sake.
You hear that, Horace? And we know it's 1987. And we know it's Mars. Is it possible we got fouled up, made some tremendous blunder, and circled around and landed back on Earth?
In 1928?
Maybe some switch in time or dimension. Could we have shifted somehow and gone backward in time? Horace, it won't hold water. It's not logical. We've checked every mile. We went past the moon and out into space. We're on Mars.
Find out anything, Captain?
No, we're going back to the ship till I figure out some logical explanation for all this. Lustig, out at point.
Aye, sir.
Hingston in the rear. Keep that gun at half load.
Aye, sir.
Horace, there's got to be some cold, logical solution.
Captain.
What?
That house down the street. The white one with the green shutters.
Lustig, what's the matter?
I never thought. Thank God. Thank God.
Lustig, come back here.
He's running for that house.
That crazy fool, after him quick.
Lustig, stop.
Come down off of that port.
Grandpa!
Lustig, what the devil do you think you're trying?
Grandma and Grandpa, it is you.
Lustig, what's going on here?
Albert, why, it's been so many years.
How you've grown, boy.
Oh, it's so good to see you.
Lieutenant Lustig.
Oh, Captain. Grandma, I want you to meet my friend. This is Captain Black. Captain, I want you to meet my grandfolks.
Howdy. Any friends of Albert's is friends of ours.
How long you been here, Grandma?
Oh, good many years. Ever since we died.
Ever since you what?
Oh, yes, sir. They've been dead 30 years.
What? You mean to tell me that Mars is heaven?
Oh, nonsense, no. All we know is here we're alive again. And who are we to question God's infinite ways?
Lustig, we're going back to the ship.
But, Captain, I want to talk to my
Lieutenant
grandfolks.
Lustig, I don't like any part of this. You'll come back with us. I have to club you and carry you.
Yeah, but, sir,
That's
they're
enough.
my...
Heaven only knows what they've run up against back of the ship. Horst, look at that crowd around the ship.
Looks like we're being welcomed with a celebration, Captain.
Celebration? They've abandoned ship. Every port is open. No guards in. You, Masters.
Hiya, Captain. Meet my old dad. That's Captain Black, and he's not a bad guy for an officer.
Of all the... Kingston.
What, sir?
Bring that man back. Use force if you have to.
Excuse me, sir. There's my Uncle George.
Kingston.
I'll be right back, Captain. Uncle George. Uncle George.
What the devil
Don't
is
you
going...
understand, sir? They've all found friends and relatives. They're all here.
He's right, Captain.
I've counted. The whole crew's out in the crowd.
But I gave orders. Definite orders.
You don't understand, Captain.
I understand mutiny. I don't care how many relatives show up. I'll have discipline on...
Johnny! Johnny, you old son of a gun.
Edward. It's you. It can't be.
Of course it is. Johnny, you old son of a gun.
Edward. Dr. Horst. This is my brother, Edward.
How do you do?
Hello.
It's wonderful to see you, Edward. Look, I've got to get back to my ship.
Hey, I almost forgot. Mom's waiting at home.
Mom?
And Dad, too.
Mom? Dad are alive? Excuse me, Horst. Then you're real, Ed.
Don't I feel real? How's that, huh?
Ed.
We've got lunch for you, Johnny. Mom's making corn fritters.
Dr. Horst, haven't you found anybody?
No, Captain. I have nobody.
Then you come on home with me, right, Ed?
Sure, you bet.
Horst, you wouldn't believe it, but it's been 35 years since I had Mom's corn fritters. By George. 35 years.
And there's plenty more in the kitchen, so don't hold back, Johnny. You too, Dr. Horst.
Well, Johnny, you're still in the Navy, huh?
That's right, Dad. I'm in command of the ship.
We're an old Navy family, Dr. Horst. All three of our boys in the service.
Ed was the best pilot in the Pacific. What did happen, Ed?
Oh, what's the difference? I'm here now.
Oh, it's almost perfect. All we're missing is your brother Will. Then the whole family could be together.
Well, it won't be long, Mom. Will's in charge of the XR-54. That's the next rocket coming out to Mars.
Well, little Will. When does he leave, Johnny?
Takeoff scheduled for September, but it depends on what we report. But there's no question about that now, eh? Christmas together again. That'll be something, huh?
Yes, sirree. Well, this calls for a celebration. How about a little of the old dandelion wine, eh, Johnny?
Now, Father, don't you go giving Johnny too much wine.
Oh, he's a big boy now, Mother. Well, sir, isn't everything just fine? Just fine.
The candlelights are gleaming on the banks of the Wabash, far away.
Hey, we have play another song.
Sure,
Well, Dr. Horst, what do you think of my little family,
Very nice.
You know, I can't understand why you didn't find any folks here, Dr. Horst. Just a shame. Everybody else is so happy.
I never remembered my family, Mrs. Black. All I know is they were gassed at Dachau during the Second World War. When I was liberated, I was in delirium 3 months. I cannot remember anything before then. A psychiatric phenomenon.
That's terrible. Isn't there anything anybody can do?
I don't want to remember.
Oh.
I haven't had a pleasant life. I prefer to be free of emotional entanglements. They interfere with a scientific approach.
I'm sorry, Dr. Horst.
Oh, I'll get it.
Hey, that's our ring, long and three shorts. I remember that.
Well, maybe we'd better call it a night. You must be getting tired, Johnny.
I'd better be going back to the ship.
Oh, nonsense. You stay the night. We insist.
Oh, I just couldn't rest thinking of you all alone on that ship.
Oh, I'll be all right. Well, good night.
Oh, wait a minute, Dr. Horst. That phone message was for you.
Me?
Yes, that's right. A message from Anna.
Anna? I don't remember any Anna.
She asked if you were better.
Perhaps she's someone you knew at Dachau.
Anna?
She said she's coming over here first thing in the morning. So you'll have to stay over.
Yes,
well, that settles it then. You stay here, Horst. You can bunk with me in my old room.
Oh, but Johnny, we thought you'd like to be with Edward.
So you could talk the way you used to.
Well, we can't put Dr. Horst in the daybed. I think we better share the room tonight. There'll be plenty of time for talking, Ed.
I guess so.
Well, I suppose I better drop back to the ship. You know, Ed, security check.
Well, why do you have to do that here?
Well, I don't know. There's no good reason, I guess. Well, suppose we skip it tonight.
Oh, sure.
Well, good night, everybody.
Oh, it's good to have you home, Johnny.
It's good to be home, Mom.
Captain Black, are you asleep?
No. I've just been thinking about what we were expecting. Green-skinned Martians with eyes on stalks. All the time there was only Mom and Dad and Edward waiting. It's funny what tricks your imagination can play on you. Yeah, I guess Mars is heaven, Horst.
I've been thinking about Martians, too. Captain, just suppose there were Martians, and they saw us land. Suppose they thought of us as invaders. What would be the best weapon they could use against our atom bombs?
I don't see what you're getting at.
They would want to disarm us first, to wipe out all suspicion, to make us feel at home. But suppose this house isn't real. Suppose the people are just images, stolen from our own memories by Martians, created for us by telepathy, hypnotism.
That's the craziest theory I ever heard.
Maybe that's why there was no one for me. Because in all my life there is no happy memory, no real loved person.
How about that phone call from Anna?
Yes. Anna. I didn't remember who she was, but I do now. I just remembered. When I was freed from Dachau, sick, delirious, I raved about a wonderful, kind nurse named Anna that took care of me.
There you are. It's logical. She's coming to see you tomorrow.
But there was no Anna. I'd been nursed by a man.
What?
Anna was only a dream. And there's only one way they could have learned about her. By reading my subconscious mind.
But that's impossible, Horst.
Why? The whole crew was thinking of home. Suppose the Martians read our minds.
Yes, but there are Martians.
If there are, they have us separated. Each man in a different house. Sleeping. Trusting. No one at the guns.
I left my pistol downstairs. Do you think there's something to this, Horst?
It's a... Who would suspect his own mother? His grandparents? How easy. Just a knife in the heart of each sleeping man.
That's impossible, Horst. We've got to get back to the ship.
Listen. The crickets have stopped.
Come on.
We don't know when they change back to. Whatever they really are.
Where are you going, John?
Ed, well, we wanted to drink of water. That's all, Ed.
You're not thirsty, John. You don't want to drink. You don't want to drink.
His face, it's changing. And his hands, he's a Martian. Run, Horst, run.
Get away, John. You can't get away.
This way, Horst. Horst, where are you?
Hello, can you hear me, Earth? This is Captain John Black, the XR-53, calling from Mars. I've locked myself in the ship, but they've crippled it. I can't take off or fire the guns, and they're coming for me now, the Martians. I'm all alone here. All the rest are dead. Hingston, Lustig, Dr. Horst. Poor Horst, he didn't even reach the door. Listen, they're trying to break through the hull now. Edward and Mom and Dad and all the folks. But they're changing now. Melting and changing back into... They're Martians. Can you understand me? Martians, not men. They made us think that Mars was heaven. We fell into the trap. Can you hear me, Earth? You've got to stop
stop the next rocket. Tell my brother Will. Tell my brother Will not to come. They'll trap him, too. They'll kill them all. Hello! Hello! Can you hear me, Earth? This is John Black on Mars. Hello, Earth. This is John Black on Mars.
Tonight, Dimension X has presented and transcribed the Ray Bradbury story, Mars is Heaven, adapted for radio by Ernest Kenoy. Featured players were Wendell Holmes as Captain Black and Peter Capell as Dr. Horst. Your narrator, Norman Rose. Music by Albert Berman. Engineer, Bill Chambers. Dimension X is produced by Van Woodward and directed by Edward King. Robert Warren speaking. In a moment.
Dimension X.
This is NBC, the National Broadcasting Company.
Adventures in time and space, transcribed in future tense. Stage tonight, Dimension X. Maybe you've been over the route of the March. The Cross-Mars Highway runs that way now. From the Calmac Canal on the equator, north to the Highlands. With a water station every 20 miles and a radar pickup and towing service running 24 hours a day. But there wasn't any highway 30 years ago in 97. There was desert. Hot, burning desert. Sand shifting and blowing, piling up around the empty shells of the ruined cities, ancient when man on Earth was living in caves. I lived at the edge of the Calmac Canal then with my father. He was a prospector, searching the surrounding desert with sonar probe and Geiger counter, scratching just enough ore from under the Martian sands to pay for our grub stake the next year. I remember he was in the Adamson digger in the North Quadrant when I came running out that day.
Dad! There's somebody coming, Dad, across the desert.
You sure?
I saw them. They're a couple of miles out.
How many cars?
They're on foot.
On foot across the desert?
Honest, Dad, I saw them.
You sure it wasn't a light reflection off the canal?
No, it was dark against the sand.
I don't like that. You run back and get the rifles out. I've got to pull the digger into the shed.
Is there going to be fighting, Dad?
I don't know. Got a whole year's ore piled out back in the bins. Ain't gonna lose it to no claim jumpers. You get back to the shack and break out those rifles. See that they're loaded, you hear? And jump. Dad had 3 surplus Army rifles and a couple of homemade grenades made out of ore cans stuffed with Adamson A explosives. We crouched inside the shack waiting. The shadow of the water tower in the doorway grew longer as the quick Martian dusk settled down over the desert. There they come, Al. There's 2 of them.
There's something funny about that second one. Look, he's all spindly, and his head's funny.
Yeah, his head's funny, all right. Now, that's a Martian.
I never saw one off the reservation before.
There hasn't been one, not in 10 years. I don't like this.
Here they come. Into the door,
Now, you remember what I told you. Line up the sights and just squeeze the trigger. Hello! Hello there!
Now, Dad?
Hello! Wait a minute. What do you want? Water!
What are you going to do, Dad?
Where do you come from? Wall swell. Hey, you're lying. That's 100 miles across the desert. I know. That's where I came from.
is empty. I need water. Well, drop your gear and come up here slow. Tell that Martian to stay where he is. All right, now. Who are you? My name is John. John, eh? What are you doing with that spider? His name is Kantalka. I don't care what his name is. What's a human doing with a Martian? I found him in the dry bed of Kalmak Canal, nearly dead of thirst. Probably ran off from the reservation. When our brothers are caged, they seek freedom. Brothers? Those spiders? All living creatures are our brothers, on Mars as on Earth. Oh, wait a minute. Bert Alstrom at False Wells told me there was a screwball hedge preacher over there hollering about letting the spiders loose off the reservations. Let no man call his life his own. No man or tribe nor nation. I guess that's you, all right. Yeah, Bert told me they called you Crazy John. Oh, well, I don't suppose there's any harm in you. Go on, fill up your tank at the air still. You can even have supper with us. We would be happy to. We? What do you mean, we? Kantalka and myself. That spider? Oh, no. I ain't having a Martian sitting down to eat with me. Well, you come on, no. Thank you, son, no. Where my brother is not welcome, I cannot go. Man filled his tank at the air-still tower, and the Martian went through the ash pile for half-burned fuel brick. When we went in the house for supper, I could see them silhouetted against the fire. The old man with his wild hair and beard, and the thin, spidery arms and legs of the Martian.
Dad?
What now?
Were the Martians always on the reservation?
Since the Outpost 3 massacre, they have been.
What was that?
Back before you were born, they lived wild in the mountains up north.
Were they fierce?
Fierce enough. There's only one place for them spiders. Behind wire.
Yeah, it sure is.
Out in the dooryard, the campfire flickered at the base of the water tower. The first of the Martian moons had set. The other wouldn't rise for several hours. I could hear the sandpeepers out in the desert as I stood there. The old man and the Martian were sitting on the ground, huddled close to the fire. It gets cold fast on the desert when the sun goes down. Did you, boy? You can come up to the fire if you like.
My dad wouldn't like it.
All right.
But I'm not afraid of no spider.
No, there's nothing to be afraid of.
How come his arms are all skinny?
Ask him.
Does he talk?
Yes, his name is Kantalka.
It is, huh? Hello.
Hello, boy.
He talks funny.
It is not my language.
Why isn't he on the reservation? You can get in trouble helping spiders to escape.
He is my brother. He was caged. When my brothers were in bondage, I came to them and said, "Lo, the time has come for deliverance."
You talk funny, too. Is it true that you want to let all the spiders off the reservation?
No man has the right to imprison the innocent.
Do they really call you Crazy John?
I have been called many things.
You really think we ought to let all those old spiders off the reservation?
Boy, we die here in the desert. We die in the sun and of the sicknesses you have brought from Earth.
That's because Martians are just weak. I bet I could knock you down myself.
You could. We are a different people. We have not the strength of muscle of Earthmen. But we will not stay here to die.
You won't get off the reservation. The patrol takes care of that, all right. They won't let any stinking old spiders out.
Even in the minds of children is planted the poison of evil. How long? How long? That night through the window, I could see the flicker of the old man's campfire. He was walking up and down now, shouting, singing hymns, verse after verse, his white beard catching the light as he passed behind the fire. The Martian sat slumped over, his thin, spindly arms folded across the huge barrel chest that had developed over the centuries as the air of Mars thinned and escaped into space. In the morning, I looked out, and they were gone. Looking back now, we wonder how they did it. The high-voltage wire around the reservation carried a fatal charge. The patrolman in the tower had 50-caliber machine guns. The desert around the camp was mined heavily. And yet, at dawn, August 7th, 1997, they broke out. I was down at the dried-up canal bed hunting sandpipers when my father came running after me.
Al!
Here I am.
Come on, back to the house.
What's the matter, Dad?
Now shut up and run.
What is it?
Spiders busted loose. Bert Alstrom radioed in.
They coming here?
They're headed this way, murdering devils.
Did they kill anybody?
This patrolman when they busted through the wire. Now get inside.
What are you going to do, Dad?
Wire a keg of Adamson A across the gate. You get in there and get the guns out.
I got the rifles and shoved a full clip in each one. Then I slipped a primer fuse in the homemade grenades and lugged them out on the porch. Dad was running lead wires back to the detonator from a half keg of Adamson A he'd set across the gate.
That's set. Give me one of those rifles.
Will they be here soon?
You can see the dust over the rise.
There they are, Dad. There they come.
Now, wait a minute. Hold up. I want to get a good shot. Let them get closer.
Dad, that's Crazy John up in front. There. He's taller than the spiders. You can see his beard.
Yeah, you're right. The renegade rat. Probably helped him break out of the reservation. Now, listen, Al. If anything happens to me, you light out back to the shed. You can hide out in the empty ore bins till they go away. You got that?
All right, Dad. The spider's shouting something, Dad.
That's probably a trick. Get down, little lad. You're in the way. Yeah, I got him clear now. Right in the head. No, up a little now. I got him.
Dad, look out. They've got guns.
Down, get down.
Dad.
Get out, Al. Get out to the shed.
But, Dad, you're hit.
Go on. Those spiders are going to rush. Get going.
I can't leave you.
Shut up. Get out of here. You hear? Get out there.
I ran back through the house to the shed, and behind me I could hear the Martian sweeping up to the dooryard. Then suddenly, the ground shook, and I could feel the dull concussion waves hit my ears as the Adamson A exploded. I could hear the high-whispered screams of the Martians and the rattle of fragments on the metal roof of the shed. I dived into the empty ore bin and slammed the hatch almost shut. I crouched there, watching the thin edge of light that filtered through, listening to the brittle tramping of Martian feet on the board floor of our house. The shooting had stopped, and the shouts had died away. I sat there waiting, and then suddenly a shadow fell across the edge of light, and the hatch slid open on top of me.
You leave me alone. I'll kill you.
Boy, I've been looking for you.
Where's my dad? What did you do to my dad?
He's dead.
You killed him. You and those spiders. You killed my father.
Come out of there, boy.
You let go of me, you murderer.
Come on out.
I'll kill you. I'll kill all those stinking murdering spiders.
They are our brothers, boy. Your father shot without warning, and the fire was returned against my orders. You did not have to shoot. Our brothers came in peace. They're going home to their mountains. We came to get water for the journey.
You mean you just wanted water? You... Dad. Dad.
We'll be following us soon.
We must go.
The boy?
We'll have to leave him here with water and supplies.
No, the Earth Patrol would question him. We need the time. He goes with us.
He can't. It's straight across the desert to the mountains. He'll die.
John, since the Earthmen came to Mars, the Highlanders have died like the grass in the hot sun. We are going home. One life cannot stop us.
They tore the Adamson airsail from the tower and mounted it on poles. They piled our supplies in the yard and loaded them on their backs. And then they started. I marched with the old man at the head, and the column stretched out behind us on the desert. Women, children, the sick and the dying, some showing the signs of the diseases that were trivial to the Earthmen, but deadly to the Martians. Chickenpox, German measles, and the bronchial infections that raced through the vast areas of Martian lungs, eating away the tissue till death came in a last spasm of coughing. I turned to look back at our house, but the sun was behind it, blinding red. And the old man pulled me around as he marched, his eyes fixed on the horizon where far to the north rose the cool mountains that were the ancient home of the Highlanders. 14 of the Martians died the first day. They dropped to the side of the column when they could go no further and died. The march went on. The sun burned down in the day. The air shimmered with the heat. And at night, under the cold racing light of the twin moons, the winds cut at tattered clothing and scattered the feeble fires that dotted the campsites. On the fifth day, we swung wide to avoid a mining settlement, but not wide enough. They were in ambush behind a pile of rocks. Down, boy.
Why aren't the spiders fighting back?
Go on back, all of you. We're giving you your last chance to get back to the reservation. I will scoop the whole lot of you.
Let us go in peace.
Who's that? You. What are you doing with them spiders?
That crazy John. A voice cries out to the universe. Your brothers must have justice.
We'll give them justice.
I shall lead them home. Home to the promised rest. Home to the mountains. March forward. March forward. Past the rocks they marched, and the Earthmen fired as fast as they could reload. A Martian would spin and drop as the heavy caliber bullets shook his bones to brittle fragments. But the march went on. We wound across the desert in wild zigzags, following the paths the old men had traveled through the years. Only once a patrol plane hovered on the horizon and then shot away. The days went on. The weeks, and the Martians died. They died of exhaustion. They died of the disease we had given them. And they died of thirst. The Adamson still could produce 27 units of water an hour, no more. And on that, they died of thirst. Here, boy. Here's your water.
That's more than the others got.
Take.
You're giving me your water.
It will be provided to me. He that brings justice to his brothers will drink deep of the water of righteousness. He that leads his brothers to their promised rest will savor the cool draughts of the mercy of heaven. Here. Drink your water, boy. Across the desert, from the Calmac Canal to Fever Dip, past the towering mesas of the Higgins Badlands, across the dry sea bottoms, they marched. On the 54th day of the march, we halted at evening. The air was thinner and colder now. The rations had long since been exhausted. And around the campfires, they cooked the hard, bitter kernels of the dogbush nut that grew on spiny stalks like earth cactus. I lay down to sleep wrapped in the old man's coat. Early in the morning, before sunrise, I woke suddenly. The brown mist that had covered the desert the night before was lifting slowly, and I saw the old man standing by the burned-out fire, the vapor swirling around his legs, and the cold light of the false dawn edging his wild beard.
Go back to sleep, boy.
I can't.
The end is near. I've led them through the wilderness, dry-shod across the seas. And before us lie the mountains.
It's over. We're there.
I've led them to home. And I must go back to the desert.
You mean alone?
No, even now, I hear a voice in the wind. Carry the message to the men of Earth. Bring to this new world the message of the old. All beings created in the universe are my brothers. And he that harms my brother harms me. Goodbye, boy. You'll be safe now.
Found him 500 yards from the camp, dead. He had given me his water. He had divided his ration among the sick. And yet his gaunt, tall body had lasted till the march was done, till the mountains were in sight. For now the mist rose, and before us towered the highlands, the tall green mountains, and the cool sky. The march was over. Of the 7,000 Martians who started, 900 were alive. They gathered now on the rise of ground and faced the hills. Their thin bodies wavered as they stood, and some dropped to the ground as they stood there. But there was a light of hope in their large, staring eyes. Most of them had died, but they had died on the way home. And now the march was over. Then the patrol planes were spotted on the horizon. And within 10 minutes, they had landed. The Martians stood silently as the squads piled out and set up the 50-caliber machine guns and petroleum gel flamethrower.
All right, you spiders, hands up and stay together. Gather in a bunch and don't try anything. Sergeant. Yes, sir. Shoot the first spider that moves and shoot to kill. All right, come on. Where's the boy? There was a boy reported.
Here I am.
You all right, kid? They didn't hurt you?
No, I'm all right. John gave me his water ration.
Oh, the leader, eh? I've got a warrant for him. Where is he?
There. He's dead.
Oh. Well, just as well. I'd hate to be him in front of a settler's jury.
What are you going to do to them?
The spiders? You see those transport planes coming in? We're going to ship them all back to the reservation where they belong.
You mean take them all back?
Lock, stock, and barrel. They'll be back behind wire before tonight. Hi, Sergeant. Get them broken up in groups of 50. The first transports are coming in.
You can't do that.
What are you talking about, kid?
Oh, you can't take them back. They're home. John said they were home.
You take it easy, kid. You're all right. Now we rescue
should you? You don't have to worry about these spiders anymore.
You can't take them back. It isn't fair. I won't let you. I won't let you. I won't let you.
Hey, let go of me. Hey, Sergeant. Yes, sir. I can feel this crazy kid off me.
They're home. Can't you understand? You can't take them back.
All right, now, take it easy. Must be a shark, can it? All right, you spiders, step it up. Move along. These transport planes. Go over now. You're headed right back to the reservation.
They separated them in groups of 50 and loaded them in the planes. 900 out of 7,000. And soon the first big-bellied ships waddled out on the hard sands and lifted slowly into the air, headed back to the south, flying over the trail of dead and dying who started on the march to the highlands, the march to home.
Come on now, kid. You'll feel better as soon as you get back to civilization. And don't worry about those spiders. They're taken care of now.
Took off. I looked once more at the green mountains, towering through the mist. And then, just before the motor raced, I saw John. Crazy John. Propped up against the dognut bush where the Martians had placed him. The wind from the south gave the wild hair and beard a rippling life. He paced the hills, the home, and the rest he had promised his brothers as he led them through the wilderness of Mars.
Be with us at this same time next week for another adventure into the unknown world of Dimension.
The underwater city of Euclidia has a new surprise to offer in each of its giant rooms. This weird colony beneath the sea, composed of 13 immense natural caverns, improved and strengthened by the Euclidean scientists, has been the prison for the adventuring Gregory party for some time. Strange things have happened to different members of the party, and the most recent, and perhaps strangest of all, is the addition of the girl submarine commander, who has been removed from her position as a Euclidean and sent to join Mrs. Gregory. Jerry and Joan are talking about this as they approach the entrance to the largest of the underwater caves, and one which they have not seen before.
Well, gee whiz, Joan. If Tex and your mother and this Euclidean girl are so blame sure we can get away from here, what are you so afraid of?
Please, Jerry, do not speak so freely. We may be overheard.
Not along here. That girl commander said we could talk in this room just the same as if we were outdoors.
I wonder if she will remain loyal to us.
Oh, sure she will.
I know that you are very sure of the attractiveness of your world, Jerry, but it does not hold everyone. Each of the Euclideans could have a place of prominence in your world if he chose, yet they remain here. And 3 members of the crew of Mother's boat have become loyal Euclideans.
Oh, don't you believe it. Those fellows are just working for the Euclideans to keep them happy. You'll see whose side they're on when the time comes to escape from here.
I hope you are correct, Jerry. But in any event, I'm sure you speak too freely of escape.
Well, okay, I won't say any more about it. But we'll escape just the same.
Is this the entrance we're to use?
Oh, it must be. It's the only one near here.
Then let us enter.
Well, sure. Come on.
Oh, Jerry.
Golly whiskers, Joan. There's an airplane flying around this room.
You are right, Jerry. That is a small airship of the type employed in your world.
And imagine a room big enough to fly one of those things around. Watch it now. It's going to land.
Jerry, there is no one in that plane.
There ain't what?
Not ain't.
No, isn't either. You're right. That cockpit is empty. But that little plane was doing a good job of flying around the cave.
It must be radio-controlled.
If it is, they sure know their business. That landing was the smoothest thing I ever saw.
How large would you estimate this chamber to be?
Well, I'm not used to rooms this size, and things fool you around this crazy place. But I'll bet it's at least 2 miles across and pretty near a mile high.
That would be my estimate, too.
Oh, wonder they can fly airships in here. But why are they doing it?
I should say that was obvious. They are testing the plane in some manner.
Well, sure they are. But why test a thing like that? Well, they've got rocket planes here that will go 1,000 miles an hour. Why would they be playing around with a little old ship like that?
That I do not know.
Well, I'll bet I'll find out pretty soon. G47 said we could ask as many questions as we wanted to. And here's where I asked some.
Of whom are you going to ask them?
Yeah, and it might be a good idea to find somebody to talk to. This is the emptiest, lonesomest room I've seen since we came here.
There must be someone who was observing and controlling the flight of that small plane.
Quiet, Joan. Listen.
Jerry, isn't
It sure is. Why, that must be the old guy who experiments with notes of music. What's his name?
Octavo.
Yeah, that's the fella. He's trying to figure out a note that will bust up something right now, I'll bet.
I believe the sound came from behind that steel screen over there.
Well, let's try it over and see.
Yes.
Yep, you're right, Joan. There's the old boy. Hello there, Octavo.
He is very deaf, Jerry. I do not believe he heard you.
Well, let's get around in front of him. Hello there. I said hello.
Who are you?
I'm Jerry Hall.
And I am Joan Gregory.
I know you. You were once Cleostra, the living symbol of the perfect Euclidean calendar. Now you are an outcast.
The choice was mine.
The choice of the outcast is usually his own.
Hey, look here, mister. We didn't come around here for you to make wisecracks to us.
Was there any purpose in your coming?
Sure there was.
Then state it. I'm busy.
We will not interrupt, but G47 gave us permission to visit various parts of Euclidia and ask questions regarding anything we did not understand.
And there's plenty we don't understand.
I can believe that of you.
Well, never mind that stuff. Is it all right if we watch what you're doing?
If G47 has given his permission, it is not within my province to deny your request.
Oh, okay. We won't get in the way. What are you doing?
Did you observe the flight of that robot-controlled plane?
Yeah?
We witnessed the end of a flight as we entered this chamber.
I am working with the destructive musical notes, searching for the keynote of the motor in that plane. When I find it, the plane will crash.
I should think it would.
I will be interested in studying the results.
To try it out on real planes in our world someday, huh?
Who knows?
Well, I don't know, but I've got a pretty good idea.
Keep your ideas and hold your tongue.
Please, Jerry, we will not be allowed to witness this experiment if you anger Octavo.
Oh, okay, I'm shut.
I believe I am approaching the correct note. I will send the plane aloft once more.
How do you do that?
Thales, the master electrician, is operating the controls for me. You may see him in the tower yonder.
There he is, Jerry.
Oh, I see him, and I don't like him.
Jerry, was that not sudden?
Sudden? Worse than that. Well, that little plane just jumped into the air.
You will observe the plane. It is flying rapidly, in irregular curves and loops. Watch it intently as I strike a variety of notes on the musical glasses.
Hey, Octavo, when you hit that other note, I thought the motor of the plane started acting up.
There was a change in the sound of the plane.
I observed that. However, the plane continued unharmed. The musical note was, therefore, not perfect.
Yep, it's still flying, but that came mighty close.
I will signal Thales to land the plane and rearrange the scale of these glasses.
It is very clever, is it not, Jerry? The manner in which that small plane is controlled from a distance.
Sure is, but I've seen that done back home. What I'm interested in is this musical glass thing.
You will observe that I will change the level of the liquid in several of these glasses.
Well, which glass do you use now?
That I cannot determine without going over them.
Well, you've got to do all that all over again?
Precisely.
You are impatient, Jerry.
But this is liable to go on all day.
All day? Young man, I have spent a lifetime at this work, and I've isolated only a few of the destructive notes.
Well, we'll walk around and look at something else while you get tuned up.
You have my permission to do as you please. But let me warn you to remain out of range of the musical notes.
We will be very careful.
See that you are.
Come on, Joan. Let's see what we can see around here.
I believe there is little of interest in this cavern. It appears to be merely a testing laboratory for planes.
Well, what's the matter with that for interesting? A testing laboratory for airships, and the ceiling of the place is 400 feet below the ocean.
It is unique.
Yeah, I guess it is. Hey, look, Joan. Is that a real airplane?
Where?
Right here. This little thing.
It appears to be.
I never saw anything that small that was supposed to fly except the kite.
Oh, do not touch it.
Oh. Well, I wouldn't hurt it any.
Nevertheless, I would advise you to leave it alone.
Oh, okay. Sounds like October's getting ready to try it again.
The little airplane is still standing idly.
Well, I guess the old boy knows he hasn't even got a note to close to what he needs.
There is the control tower, Jerry.
And Theory looks like he's got some fun out of doing something to us.
I think that Thales and Cheops are now both very dangerous enemies.
And I know they are. G-47 punished both of them for letting that rocket plane crash while Tex and I were along. And they acted like it was our fault.
The captain's quick action in saving all of your lives made Cheops and Thales look very foolish. And the Euclideans do not enjoy being the object of ridicule.
Well, I don't think anybody does, but it's too late to worry about it now.
Did you notice, Jerry, that there are clouds up near the ceiling of this cavern?
Clouds? Well, by Jiminy, you're right, Joan. And that's sure something to tell the folks. A room under the ocean so high that it has clouds in it.
Of course, the clouds might easily be formed by vapors arising from the damp floor of the cave.
Something going on again.
The old man is striking his musical glasses.
And the plane's taking off again. Maybe we'll see something this time.
A number of the notes have been struck, and there is no obvious effect on the plane.
The old boy's staying right with it, though. He must think he's got something.
He has unlimited patience.
One thing you've got to say for Thales, he sure knows how to run that plane by remote control.
Jerry, I believe Octavo is nearing the solution of his problem.
What makes you think so?
He is striking that one note continuously.
Yep, he is. Maybe that's the one. We'd better watch that little plane mighty close now. Oh, boy! He put in your hat at that
The
time.
motor was stopped for a moment, but it is running perfectly again. He's striking that note again.
And you can hear it. It's longer. It seems to stay in the air.
Jerry, that motor has stopped.
And the plane is falling.
No, the motor is functioning again.
Boy, that was close. I wonder what he'll do now.
He is repeating that note.
Yep. And this time he's really making it stay in the air.
The motor is uncertain. No, it has stopped.
He's got it, Joan. He's got it this time for sure.
The plane is falling, although Thales is working the controls in an attempt to keep it afloat.
He'll never keep that ship up. Look, Joan, the motor wasn't the only thing the musical note hit. The wings. See how loose and floppy they
The
are?
entire plane is going to pieces.
It is. It's going to crash. Gee whiz.
Oh, Jerry, that was terrifying.
I'll say it was. Suppose that had been a big plane with people in it.
Perhaps a human pilot in the plane could have kept it aloft.
Not a chance. Nobody can fly him when the wings come off. I've heard Captain Bradford say that.
Well, young man, you do not seem to be in such a light mood now. Did you enjoy my little demonstration?
No, I didn't enjoy it, but it was good.
That was my meaning.
Octavo, could you have done the same thing to a larger plane with a human pilot at the controls?
Certainly. Probably with less effort.
Well, what are you going to do with that thing?
Can you not imagine the effect such a demonstration would have on your country, for example?
Gee, you wouldn't dare do anything like that.
That is a foolish remark. And you know it only too well.
Yeah. Well, I guess I do.
Jerry, let us return to our quarters.
It suits me. And if we've got to see things like this all the time, well, I'd just as soon not do any more looking around.
Jerry and Joan have just watched one of the most terrifying demonstrations they have ever seen. Down in the underwater city of Euclidia, where the ceilings of the giant caverns are over 400 feet below the surface of the sea, and the caves themselves are from 1 mile to nearly 2 miles in diameter, the two younger members of the Gregory party have learned something which sends them running back to their quarters to report their experience. Waiting for them are Captain Bradford, Mrs. Gregory, and the Euclidean girl submarine commander, who has been robbed of her Euclidean honors and sent to spend her time in confinement with the Gregory party.
But, Tex, I don't feel quite so sure about it.
Oh, take it easy, Pat. Those kids are all right.
I believe the captain is correct, Mrs. Gregory. Jerry Hall and your daughter are quite capable of taking care of themselves.
Right, Elaine. Those two can get out of anything they get themselves into.
But, Tex, there are so many things in Euclidia we don't understand, things we know nothing of. And Jerry is inclined to talk far too much and too loud. I'm always worried for fear he'll make one of the Euclideans angry.
I think you need have no further worries along those lines, Mrs. Gregory. The Euclideans will treat Jerry kindly, regardless of his actions, until such time as they have secured the captain's formula.
Well, then they'll wait a while. I'm not ready to let them have it just yet. And when I do,
they won't enjoy receiving it.
Tex, have you decided exactly how you're going to use the formula when the time comes?
Just about. At least I know exactly where I'll use it.
Oh, there's the 12 o'clock signal. And Jerry and Joan are not here for lunch.
That won't hurt anything but their feelings. Those two are well fed. Missing a meal won't do them any great harm.
The captain is right, Mrs. Gregory.
Oh, I know he is. He's always right. But there are so many terrible things all around us, and we've lived so long in uncertainty and fear that I don't like to see our party separated.
We'll probably have to separate plenty of times before we manage our escape from this place.
Hi, everybody.
Jerry, please do not make so much noise.
I'm not making any noise.
Well, Pat?
They're in perfect health.
Hey, Mrs. Gregory, Joan's afraid of a little noise.
No, Mother, not a little noise.
Where have you two been?
Oh, wait till we tell you. Hey, but let's have lunch first, huh?
The table is not rising through the floor.
Perhaps luncheon has been delayed.
Well, they don't delay things for fun around this place. I'll bet they're mad at us, and we don't get any lunch.
Have you been doing something to get yourself in bed?
No, Captain, but we have watched a very wonderful experiment.
Oh, tell us about it, Joan.
Oh, we will. But let's eat first, huh?
As you have observed, it will be rather difficult to eat without food.
What has happened?
Well, we don't know, dear. The luncheon signal sounded just before you and Jerry came in, but the table isn't making its usual startling entrance.
Well, Jiminy Jimcracks. Will you look at that?
What?
That little steel pole sticking up through the floor.
Where did that come from?
Obviously, it has been raised from the lower level, much as the table is elevated.
Yes, I can see that, but we were looking for a table full of lunch. That thing won't help us any.
I have seen this happen many times, Captain Bradford. I believe you will find that our noonday meal is there for us.
A meal on top of that thing?
Are you serious, Elaine?
Hey, hold it, everybody. I'm beginning to get the idea, and I don't like it.
I think I know, Jerry. More of those pills.
The concentrated Euclidean food pellets.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, I think I can do without mine.
Me too. I'm not as hungry as I thought I was.
It would be very foolish to refuse food. We will find that this concentrated meal is an indication of an emergency within the city. And if we do not eat now, it may be some time before we will be offered another meal, and certainly some time before another meal of worldly food is sent to us.
Will you please bring the pellets, Jerry?
Oh, yeah, sure. If this is all we're going to get for a while, we'd better eat it. Yep, here they are. 5 little pills for us to get fat on. Well, I can't give you any choice. They're all alike, so help yourself.
Thank you, Jerry.
You do not seem to enjoy the prospect, Mrs. Gregory.
Well, none of us are crazy about it, but it's the best thing we have offered right now. Thanks, Jerry.
This is very nice, thank you.
What's nice about it?
When you are offered food on Euclidia, it will be well for you to remember that anything you receive deserves your gratitude.
Oh, hey, forget it, Elaine.
Why, I am sorry.
We understand, my dear. You have been a Euclidean so long that it's not easy for you to break away from it.
Did sound startling, though, to hear the voice of that submarine commander suddenly pop out at it.
I will be more careful in the future. No one could want to forget Euclidia more quickly than myself.
Well, our dinner's all over. I don't feel any too fat.
Now, Jerry, you are perfectly aware that the food you have eaten is entirely sufficient for your needs.
Oh, sure. But I can't taste it.
What did you and Joan see that kept you so long, Jerry?
Oh, well, when we went over to...
Pardon me just a moment, Jerry. But I think that's the sort of second-order business. I'd like to hear something more from Elaine about this emergency she spoke of.
I cannot tell what it is, as I have no way of securing information now. But something is happening. Something which the Euclideans feel important enough to warrant calling the staff from the food chambers to active duty.
Oh, all hands and the cook on deck, huh?
Must be that, son.
But what could be happening?
Many things. Perhaps an attack from the outer world.
I think not. With the exception of yourselves, no one from the outer world even suspects the existence of this underwater colony.
That's true, so far as we know.
Well, what makes you so sure anything's gone wrong?
Emergency rations in the form of this concentrated food invariably means that everyone in Euclidia has been called to their emergency stations.
And the most natural emergency is an attack.
Not necessarily. The Euclideans live in constant fear of the ocean.
A fear that these caverns may not withstand the pressure and allow the water to flood the city?
I felt that we were in danger from that.
No, not that, I think. These caverns are natural, and even though the scientists do not like to admit it, Their artificial structures fall far short of nature's wonders.
I knew it. Golly whiskers, I knew it. Those guys aren't as good as they claim to be.
Now, don't go too fast along those lines, Jerry. G47 is the greatest scientist in the world, perhaps the greatest of all time. And he's merely showing his intelligence when he fails to trust something he's built against all the laws of nature.
I agree with you on that, Tex. G47 isn't going to make any mistake as serious as the mistake of overestimating his power.
I think that is quite correct.
Okay, he's smart then. But so are we. Let's go and find out what he's doing.
I will go with you, Jerry.
No, Joan, dear.
But, Mother...
Not this time, Joan. You don't know any more about this underwater city than we do. And you and Jerry have done enough touring for one day. Now, I think your mother, Elaine, myself will go out presently and have a look around. But before we do, it might help to know what you and Jerry saw on this last trip.
Well, we saw plenty. And it wasn't good news for our world, either.
What was it, Jerry?
Well, you remember those musical notes the plane there wrecked the submarine we stole?
We are not likely to forget that quickly. The horrible tremors that passed through the steel shell of that huge boat as the musical note struck it.
Are they working on those things again?
They are indeed, Captain Bradford. Jerry and I saw Octavo perform an amazing experiment.
He is working in the airship testing cavern, is he not?
He sure is. And he's got Thales working with him, too.
Thales is operating the radio control from the tower, and Octavo is testing his musical robot-controlled plane, flown within the chamber.
Within the chamber?
Yes, Mother.
You mean one of those undersea caverns is large enough to fly airplanes in?
Boy, I'll say it's large enough.
The plane we saw in use was a very small one, of the type ordinarily used in your world for observation. Yet the results would be the same with a large plane.
What happened?
Well, the first couple of times old Octavo hit a note, the plane just shivered a little and kept on going. But the third bunch of music he turned loose, the motor stopped, and the plane started to fall to pieces.
The plane was breaking up in the air?
Indeed it was.
Then Octavo has accomplished something he has worked on for more than 10 years.
And what will be the effect of this on flying if we can't stop these activities?
Well, if we can't keep this guy Octavo from getting loose in our world, well, there just won't be any flying, unless the Euclideans do it.
Exactly. And what you've just seen is one more reason for our plans to take this place over.
Captain Bradford, may I ask a question?
Why, certainly, Elaine.
Will you trust me?
Trust you?
What do you mean, Elaine?
Trust me completely. Allow me to participate in your plans for escape and the capture of Euclidia?
Oh, sure we will. Well, I've known ever since I first saw you that you were going to be a friend of ours.
And I, too, feel that the commander... Oh, I'm sorry. That Elaine is to be trusted.
Of course. You're one of us now, Elaine. And you have no more reason to love the Euclideans than we have.
What caused you to ask that question?
It would appear to me that the time has come for us to make some well-organized and rapid movement if we hope to leave Euclidia in safety.
And, what do you suggest?
Nothing for the moment. But if you will allow me to enter into all of your discussions, I am sure that my services will prove of value to you.
Oh, sure they will.
That would seem reasonable to me.
If you wish, I will go over the situation with Jerry and Joan, while the captain and yourself learn what you can of the present emergency.
Very well. Come on, Pat. Let's go out and look around.
Are you ready to leave at once?
Yes, I just thought of something.
Hey, isn't there anything we could be doing?
Do what Elaine suggested. Get all of our ideas on our position here. We'll go over them when we're together again.
Get you back, Mother.
Well, we'll return as soon as possible.
And while we're gone, you three remain in these quarters. Whatever happens, don't leave here until you see us again.
Oh, but Captain Bradford, what...
Tex, what's the matter with you?
I've got an idea.
Well, it must have been a sudden one.
Well, it was, and I wanted to get you out of there where I could tell you before my face gave me away.
What is it, Tex? Something you didn't want the others to find out?
Something I didn't want that girl submarine commander to find out.
Tex, what has happened?
Nothing yet. And I think as long as we keep an eye on that girl, nothing will continue to happen. We'll let her out of our sight after she knows our plans, and G47 will have them just as quick as she can get to it.
Oh, you're mistaken.
Oh, I wish I was. Something tells me that girl is not what she pretends to be.
Why, that's out of the question, Tex. It isn't reasonable. That girl has helped us a number of times.
Yeah, true, but if you remember, she never helped us into any very permanent security.
But she's an outcast from Euclidia. Even Thales and Cheops told you that, Tex.
It would be to their advantage to tell me that, wouldn't it?
Tex, something very definite has happened. What is it?
That girl asking us if we trust her. That sounds too much like a criminal who gets his alibi ready before anyone accuses him of the crime.
Oh, you're worried about nothing at all, Tex. That girl is a friend of ours, and I'll trust her with our lives.
Well, I won't. I think she's hiding something from us, and that's that. We won't discuss our plans with her.
Tex, I'm sorry to have to say this, but you've invited it. I'm in charge of our party.
What?
Just that. After all, this entire expedition is mine. We came on my boat. The responsibility for all of you rests with me, and from now on, I'll assume active command.
But, Pat,
I'm sorry, Tex, but I don't see it your way.
and you'll be good enough to take orders from me. That girl remains a member of our party, and I expect you to treat her as such.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
Kellogg's Pep. P-E-P, Pep. Kellogg's Pep, the Sunshine Cereal, presents
The Adventures of Superman. Today, with a stern warning ringing in her ears not to make an appearance at the mass meeting for Henry Marshall, Lois Lane determines to carry on the Daily Planet's fight against Martin Higgins and his corrupt politicians.
Hello there, gang. This is your pal Dan McCullough. Say, if you'd like a breakfast dish with a new twist, something really out of the ordinary, try a Pep Jamboree tomorrow morning. That's this week's Pep Dish of the Week. And it's as snappy a combination as you'd ever hope to taste. Now, here's the idea. You top your regular serving of Kellogg's Pep, the Sunshine Cereal, with mixed fruit cocktail. Some of the sweet syrup, too. Pour on milk, and that's a Pep Jamboree. And what a jamboree of flavors it is. You dig down through the juicy chunks of fruit to those crisp golden flakes of Kellogg's Pep with their full wheat sunshine flavor. And your spoon comes up loaded with mighty smooth eating. Makes you feel like concentrating on that out-of-this-world goodness until you've cleaned up every last bit in your bowl. And you know, that's always the smart thing to do. But particularly nowadays, when the cereal grains are being sent to give that swell grain nourishment to fellows and girls overseas. So when Mom brings Kellogg's Pep home from the grocer's, see that there's no waste at your house. If you pour your own Pep, pour it carefully and polish off every bit you pour out. And say, kind of keep watch on your younger brothers and sisters, too. Get the right habit, gang. Eat all your Pep. Don't waste it.
And now, the adventures of Superman. Tonight marks the opening of the bitterest election campaign in the history of Metropolis. District Attorney Henry Marshall, who is supported by Superman and his friends on the Daily Planet newspaper, is running for mayor against Martin Higgins, leader of a corrupt political machine. As the city's foremost girl reporter, Lois Lane has been invited to speak at a mass meeting for Marshall. But as she was leaving the planet, she received a threatening phone call from an unknown man, warning her to stay away from the meeting. Angrily, Lois replied that she could not be scared off. And as we continue now, she and cub reporter Jimmy Olsen, who has been assigned to cover the mass meeting, are in a taxicab en route to Park Square. Lois is going over her speech. Listen.
And as all of you know, Henry Marshall's record as a brilliant, courageous public servant is beyond reproach.
I wonder who made that phone call, Miss Lane.
What phone call, Jim?
Well, you know, just before we left the office. The call warning you not to show up at the meeting tonight.
Oh, that. It must have been one of Martin Higgins's dirty crew trying to scare me off. Well, I'll bet he tried the same bluff on the other speakers.
Maybe it wasn't a bluff.
Oh, Jim,
well, Mr. Ken and Mr. White said there are a lot of gangsters and racketeers working to elect Martin Higgins. They'll be run out of town unless Higgins is elected. Mr. Ken says they won't stop at anything to get him elected.
They won't stop at anything underhanded, no. But out in the open with a crowd of respectable citizens and the police around, they'll be as meek as lambs.
I hope you're right.
I know I am, Jim. Don't let that phone call worry you. Trying to spoil your opponent's political rallies is old stuff.
Just the same, I wish Mr. Kent was with us.
What do we need him for?
Well, if anything happened and he was around...
He'd be the first one to run away.
Well, he would not. Well, you're always making fun of him, Miss Lane. But you're wrong. Mr. Kent is...
I know. Brave as a mouse.
Oh, doggone it, Miss Lane.
Now, Jim...
I'm sorry. It's me mad when you laugh at Mr. Kent.
I'm sorry, too, Jim. I really shouldn't, I suppose, but... Oh, well, forget it. Oh, we're coming into the square. Good heavens, look at that crowd.
The crowd is right. Jeepers, there must be 10,000 people.
5,000, anyhow. Could you drive right up to that sound truck in the middle of the square, cabby?
I'll try, lady.
Okay. You seem to be a little late, Jim. The meeting's begun already. Open your window, will you, please?
Okay.
And so I say to you, ladies and gentlemen, a vote for Henry Marshall is a vote for clean and honest government. Thank you.
Gosh, listen to that applause. Who's the man just finished speaking?
Mr. Prescott, Henry Marshall's campaign manager.
Oh.
Gee, I didn't realize there'd be so many people. I hope I don't get nervous.
Oh, you won't. You're a swell speaker.
Thanks.
I can't get you any closer, lady. So big a crowd.
This is close enough, thanks. Let's see, 75 cents. Here you are, driver, and keep the change.
What's your price?
Come on, Jim, and hurry. I think I'm scheduled to be the next speaker.
We seem to have some hecklers in the crowd, Miss Lane. I hope you won't let them bother you.
I'll try not to, Mr. Prescott.
Good. Now, if you're ready, Miss Lane, I'll introduce you.
All right. I don't think I'll ever be any more ready.
I'm sure you'll do a grand job.
Thanks a lot.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my great pleasure to introduce our next speaker, the most famous woman reporter in the country, Miss Lois Lane of the Metropolis Daily Planet.
Wish me luck, Jim.
Good luck, Miss Lane. And don't worry about those hecklers.
I'll be watching. Okay, Jim.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am honored to appear before you tonight and endorse the candidacy of a fine and courageous American, Mr. Henry Marshall.
Listen to those guys.
Don't pay any attention to them, son.
I know Henry Marshall, and I know that he will carry out his campaign promises. He says that he will, if elected mayor of this city, wipe out the slums, the breeding place of crime and juvenile delinquency, and promote a modern housing program. He will keep his word.
Did you hear that, Mr. Prescott?
Yes, there seems to be more of those young toughs here tonight than I thought.
One of our greatest problems today is Mr. Marshall proposes to deal with it by providing good housing, more schools and playgrounds, and other recreational facilities for our young people. His opponent, on the other hand, Mr. Martin Higgins, says that there's nothing wrong with the slums. And the reason he says it is because the wealthy and greedy owners of Metropolis slum property are supporting his campaign.
That's the lie. Higgins is okay.
Yeah, that's the lie. Hurry, come on. Just one moment, please.
Now we've heard enough from you.
Hey, look. A bunch of the guys are pushing toward the sound truck.
Yes. Officer!
You can't scare me. I know that I speak for the great majority of honest citizens here tonight when I denounce Martin Higgins and his vicious political machine.
Shut up and sit down.
Come on, shut up, guys. Let's keep back. Come here, Miss Lane. Miss Lane, come here.
Jim. Look out. They're trying to push the truck over, Jim.
Officer!
Jim!
Hang on to me, Miss Lane. We're turning over.
Clinging to one another, Jimmy Olsen and Lois Lane feel the huge sound truck rock, then crash over on its side as the spectators gasp and holler and police whistles blow furiously. We'll return in a moment for the exciting climax of today's episode.
Say, gang, did you know? Kellogg's Pep is a wizard at magic. Yes, sir. Pep the Sunshine cereal has a magic touch that can transform breakfast into a sunny sort of meal, and no sleight of hand needed. Just pour out a serving of those crisp golden toasted flakes of whole wheat and get set to enjoy yourself, because Pep is tender and crunchy and delicate as can be. Pep is full of sparkling sunshine flavor, a come-on flavor that keeps your spoon coming right back for more. Yes, sir, Kellogg's Pep sure has the old stuff that puts breakfast on the sunbeam every time. Pep boosts your quota of nutrition, too. Gives you solid whole wheat nourishment plus. So, you're on the right track if you polish off every tender, crisp flake in your bowl. And here's another angle, gang. Nowadays, the cereal grains, like the whole wheat in Kellogg's Pep, are being sent to fellows and girls overseas. So it's not a good idea to waste cereal. When Mom brings Kellogg's Pep home from the grocer's, take special pains to make sure there's no waste at your house. If you pour your own Pep, pour it carefully and eat up every bit you pour out. And say, kind of keep an eye on your younger brothers and sisters, too. That's a cinch, isn't it? Just be sure to eat all your Pep. Don't waste it.
An hour has passed since Lois Lane, with Jimmy Olsen at her side, was addressing a political mass meeting in Park Square when a group of young toughs overturned the sound truck in which Jimmy and the girl reporter stood. Now, in the 3rd Ward headquarters of the Martin Higgins for Mayor party, above a saloon in the squalid slums section of Metropolis, 2 men sit in a bare, smoke-filled office. One is tall, thin, and sallow-faced. The dead stub of a cigar seems almost to grow from a corner of his tight, thin mouth. He is Joe Keenan, henchman and ward leader for Martin Higgins. The other man is of middle height, heavy-set and swarthy, with small, bright black eyes. He smokes cigarettes chain fashion, and 2 large diamonds gleam on his heavy fingers. His name is Al Vincent, and he is the owner of a string of neighborhood pawn shops. Joe Keenan shows tobacco-yellowed teeth as his thin lips twist in a smile.
Your boys did a good job on that mass meeting tonight, Al. Darn good. I told you they would. But you got to be a little more careful, Al. Not so rough. They might have killed that dame reporter, that Lois Lane, and that young guy with her when they tipped the truck over. If they don't stick to reporting and stay out of politics, they will get hurt bad. Screaming in that paper, the slums got to go. This neighborhood's okay. I got a good trade here, and I worked a long time building up my connections. They can't do that to me. They won't if Martin Higgins gets in. He'll get in all right. He's got to get in, even if... Hey, wait a minute. Hello. Oh, hello, boss. How'd you like what Al's boys done to Marshall's mass meeting tonight, huh? Huh? What's that? Hey, when did it happen? Yeah, I get it. Well, who do you think? Huh? Why, those dirty... Yeah, I'm listening, boss. Sure, I know what it means. Okay, I'll see what I can do. Right, so long. Creepers. What's the matter, Joe? Oh, plenty. That was Higgins. Somebody sneaked some letters out of his office, and if Henry Marshall and the newspapers get hold of them, Higgins is sunk. You got any idea who stole them? Yeah. You see, he just found out his secretary has been going around with a Daily Planet reporter. Now the secretary is scrammed, and Higgins thinks she's copped the letters and give them to the newspaper guy. That's murder. We gotta get those letters, Al. Boy, they're dynamite. If the Planet's got them, Higgins not only won't be the next mayor, but he might be wearing a striped suit and a number. That'll ruin my business, but good. Yeah, well, what about me? I'm tied in on a dozen deals with Higgins. We got to get those letters back. Yeah, sure, but how? There must be a way. Let me think a minute. Yeah. I got a lot of smart characters working for me. Kids I trained myself. Kids? This ain't no job for kids. This is big stuff. The Planet's one of the top papers in the country. Well, what are we going to do, Hal? Shut up and let me think. Yeah, maybe it'll work. What? Something I just thought of. One of my kids. Will you stop talking about kids? I'm telling you. Will you pipe down and listen? I got an idea, and it just might work. Now listen, and don't pop off till I get through. If the Planet's got them, then... His voice dropping, the swarthy Al Vincent, his little black eyes gleaming as brightly as the diamonds on his heavy fingers, reveals a plan to recover the Higgins letters from the Daily Planet. What is his plan, and what will happen? Gang, we're beginning one of our most exciting Superman stories. One in which the Man of Steel and his friends battle ruthless, dishonest politicians for the control of Metropolis. You won't want to miss a single episode of this story. So be sure to tune in tomorrow and every day, Monday through Friday. Same time, same station.
And remember, for breakfast, it's Kellogg's Pep.
For excitement, the adventures of Superman.
Superman is a copyrighted feature appearing in Superman DC comic magazines and is brought to you Monday through Friday at the same time by Kellogg's Pep, the Sunshine Cereal. Say, if your dog is a softie, here's a little trick you can try to help give him lots of muscle. Mix Kellogg's Grow Pup dog food in with his scraps of meat and fat. See if it doesn't make his eyes brighter, his coat glossy. See if it doesn't give him lots of oof, so that pretty soon he'll be able to take it, to scramble right along with the gang. Lots of champs feed on Grow Pup, you know. So let your dog have his pick of Grow Pup ribbon, Grow Pup meal, or Grow Pup pellets. Just so's Mother remembers, write Kellogg's Grow Pup on her marketing list right now. And be sure to be with us tomorrow for the thrilling adventures of Superman. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
Kellogg's Pep. P-E-P, Pep. Kellogg's Pep, the Sunshine Cereal, presents
The Adventures of Superman. Today, the youthful Mary Hennig, schooled in crime by the treacherous Al Vincent, sees her plan to secure information concerning the Higgins letters, meeting with every success, and at the expense of none other than Lois Lane.
Hello there, gang. This is your pal Dan McCullough. Say, some kids say it's out of this world. Some call it a dream dish. But everybody agrees that this week's Pep Dish of the Week is a frolic of breakfast fun. It's a Pep Jamboree, you know, a dish that's just as nifty as its name. Now, here's how you make it. You pour out your regular serving of Kellogg's Pep, the Sunshine Cereal. Cover with that gay mixture fruit cocktail and a little of the sweet syrup. Pour on milk and pitch into your Pep Jamboree. It's colorful. It's flavorful. It's terrific. You see, you dig down through the juicy chunks of fruit to toasted flakes of Kellogg's Pep that are loaded with keen sunshine flavor. Why, Pep tastes so bang-up good, you want to finish off every delicious spoonful in your bowl. And that's the right idea, you know, because you don't want to waste cereal, especially nowadays when we're sending the cereal grains to fellows and girls across the seas. So keep that in mind, gang, when Mom brings Kellogg's Pep home from the grocer's. Make it your job to see that it's not wasted. Handle the package carefully if you pour your own Pep, and polish off every bit you pour out. And say, kind of keep watch on your younger brothers and sisters, too. Make sure to eat all your Pep. Don't waste it.
And now, the Adventures of Superman. When Tony Sloan, a Daily Planet reporter, managed to secure several letters proving that Martin Higgins, candidate for mayor of Metropolis, is connected with gangsters and racketeers, Editor Perry White was jubilant. Now, he told Clark Kent and Lois Lane, they could ensure the election of Henry Marshall, an honest man who had promised to wipe out the slums and thereby remove the worst breeding ground for juvenile delinquency. But somehow this came to the attention of Al Vincent, a crooked pawnbroker and political henchman of Higgins. Calling in Mary Hennig, a 15-year-old girl, also known as Chickie, Vincent offered her $100 to worm her way into the Daily Planet and retrieve the Higgins letters. Having met Lois Lane when the girl reporter had done some settlement work, Mary visited her, and by playing on Lois's sympathies with a phony hard luck story, made her an unwitting ally. As we continue today, Lois, her arm protectively around Mary's shoulder, is in Perry White's office, trying to secure for the seemingly nice girl a part-time job, as Clark Kent stands by. Listen.
I tell you, we are short-handed around here, Chief. We need another office girl.
We don't need another office boy or an office girl either.
But we do. Beanie should have someone to help him run copy. The poor boy is running himself ragged.
Are you kidding? Beanie never ran a step in his life. If I gave him an assistant, he'd sleep all day.
Well, Miss Williams needs help in the filing room, doesn't she, Clark?
Huh? Yes. Come to think of it, Lois, Miss Williams has been looking rather tired lately.
There. You see, Chief, Clark thinks we need Mary, too.
I don't care what he thinks. I'm running this paper, and
Mary can help Beanie and Miss Williams, and me, too. What's more, I'm sure she'll develop into a fine reporter.
Sure. Look, Chief, Lois is right. After all,
No. We've got all the help we need, and that's that. And furthermore...
Now, you see what you've done, Chief?
What I've done?
Yes, you. Don't cry, Mary.
What's the matter with you two? Can't you see this girl's too young to go to work? She belongs in school. Now, young lady, if you want to amount to anything, you need an education.
Yes, sir.
Lois explained that Mary only wants to work after school and on Saturdays, Chief.
Then why does she have to pick on me? There are plenty of jobs to be had after school for bright youngsters.
Well, that's right,
But
Chief.
I want to work on the Daily Planet and get to be a reporter like Miss Lane.
No, you do, eh?
But if you don't want to give me a chance...
Now, there.
Wait a minute. Take it easy, Mary.
Lois, will you please make her stop that infernal crying?
I think you better take her out of here, Lois, for a minute.
I will. But you haven't heard the last of this, Mr. White. Come along, Mary.
Oh, all right. Goodbye, Mr. White.
Goodbye.
Have her wait in the city room, Lois.
Wait, what for?
Sit in that chair by Miss Bartrack's desk, Mary. Now, don't go away.
You ought to be ashamed of yourself, Chief.
You certainly should.
Aye, Sheen. What for?
The way you treated that poor kid.
Well, I'll be...
Perry White, the great crusader, the knight in shining armor.
Yes.
The man who writes scathing editorials demanding that slums be wiped out, but not one
Yes,
word.
the man who screams in bold-faced type that the children of the slums have no opportunities to overcome their environment.
Yes, and that we, the more fortunate members of society, are alone responsible for juvenile delinquency.
Well, what's that got
and
to
the
do
first
with...
chance you get to personally help a deserving kid pull herself out of the environment that may turn her into a delinquent, what do? You turn her down.
But what's that got to do with me and the Daily Planet? What are we running here, a social service agency?
Oh, now, look,
what am I supposed to do? Give a job to every prospective juvenile delinquent who takes it into his head
No,
to come
Chief,
in
you're
here?
not supposed to. Nobody's asking you to do that. All I want you to do is to listen to this kid's story before you throw her out.
Oh, all right. Give it to me, but fast.
Well, thanks. Well, here it is in a nutshell. Mary is one of 6 children whose father is dead and whose mother must support a family on a pension of $15 a week.
What? $15 a week for a family of 7?
That's right. And Mary figures that if she can earn the same amount, the total of $30 will just about see them through. So despite the fact that she dreamed of someday becoming a reporter, she's decided to sacrifice her ambition and quit school to get a job. Well, you know what that means.
Probably that she'll never overcome her environment as long as she lives.
And also that the first chance for easy money that comes her way will tempt her to grab it.
Yes, and that, as you well know, results usually in a kid's becoming a juvenile delinquent. The lure of easy money through crime is a temptation hard to resist.
You said that 100 times in your editorials, Chief.
Sure I have. Everyone knows that.
Oh, but here's a chance to save one youngster from falling into it. Don't you think it's worth $15 a week to give her a chance?
She seems like a bright kid, too. Certainly deserves credit for her spunk.
I'll say she does. And she is bright, too. She was the smartest one in my class. Seems to have a real knack for picking things up quickly.
What do you say, Chief?
Well, if what you say is true...
Oh, Chief, you will give her the job?
Now, wait a minute. I didn't say that, and I won't commit myself either until we check her story.
But, Chief...
How do we know that this sob story she gave you isn't a phony?
Oh, no.
After all, we can't just take on anyone without references
Oh, no, that's ridiculous.
No, it isn't.
Oh, the Chief's right, Lois. It is customary to check references.
Nonsense, Clark. She's all the reference I need, and I'm prepared to take the full responsibility.
Well, that's fine, but just
What's
the same...
more, I'll even post a bond for her.
What about a working permit? That's required, you know.
No, I'll see that she has one.
You certainly are sold on that kid.
Yes, I am. I think this is a fine chance for us to do something besides talk.
All right. For the love of Mike, get off the soapbox and bring her in here. She's hired. Now, Mary, I want you to understand that I'm hiring you without references and strictly on Miss Lane's say-so.
I understand, Mr. White. Oh, gee, I hope you won't be sorry, Miss Lane.
I know I won't, Mary.
I certainly hope so. Now, you'll get $15 a week for coming in every day after school and all day Saturday.
Oh, gee whiz, that's swell. When can I start?
Right away. Lois, take her in and introduce her to Miss Williams and see that she meets the rest of the staff.
Okay,
Then
Chief.
come right back here because Tony Sloan should be here soon with those... wait a minute. Perry White speaking. Tony? Where are you? We were expect... Huh? What's that?
Something wrong, Chief?
Quiet, Kent. Go on, Tony. Yes. Yes, you sure? Oh, boy, that's wonderful. Swell. Hey, you bet. I'll contact Inspector Henderson. Look, what about those Higgins letters? I see. Now, okay. Kent will meet you there at 9 o'clock. Right. Now, be careful now. Goodbye.
Well, must have been good news. You certainly look pleased, Chief.
Like the cat that swallowed the canary.
That swallowed Martin Higgins would be better.
Hey, what's up? Tony discovered something new?
And how? He's been digging into Higgins' background further, and he has just come up with another of that rat's dirty business partnerships. A pawn shop that serves as a fence for a gang of young hoodlums.
Wonderful.
That's not all. The guy who runs the pawn shop, Tony says, conducts what amounts to a training school for boy and girl thieves.
Good heavens, who is this monster?
A man named Al Vincent.
Al Vincent?
Hey, what's the matter, Mary? Why have you turned so pale?
As the color drains from Mary's face, Lois turns to her solicitously, while Perry White and Clark Kent, their eyes suddenly narrowing searchingly, look hard at the girl. Is she about to give herself away as Al Vincent's agent? We'll know in a moment, so stand by for the dramatic climax of today's episode.
Say, gang, if you want breakfast to give your day a good start in life, latch on to Kellogg's Pep, the Sunshine Cereal. Boy, there's a breakfast treat that is a treat. Packed with sunny, golden toasted flavor, for one thing. A keen, sparkling sort of flavor that perks up your appetite like anything. Pep is crisp, too, and crunchy, so tender it practically melts in your mouth. Why, Kellogg's Pep tastes so terrific, you can hardly wait to dig in and finish off every golden toasted flake in your bowl. Mom likes that, you know, because Pep is good for you. Sure, gives you solid whole wheat nourishment plus. What's more, it's never a good idea to waste cereal. And nowadays, we're sending the cereal grains to help give good grain nourishment to fellows and girls all over the world. So, latch on to Pep, gang. When Mom brings Kellogg's Pep home from the grocer's, make sure there's no waste at your house. If you pour your own Pep, pour it carefully and polish off every bit you pour out. Pass the word along to the rest of your family, too. It's so easy to do, and it's so important. Always eat all your Pep. Don't waste it.
What's the matter, Mary? Why have you turned so pale?
Don't you feel well? No,
Mary, do you know Al Vincent?
Well, that is, yes, in a way.
Well, what do you mean, in a way? Do you know anything about Vincent's so-called school for juvenile thieves?
Oh, no, Mr. Kent.
You're sure you don't know anything about the gang of young boy and girl hoodlums who meet in the clubroom back of his shop every week?
No, sir. No, I don't. Well, then how do you know him, Mary? You can tell us. Well, it's just that I brought something into a shop to pawn once, and, well, he was very nasty to me. When you mentioned his name again, I just got scared all over again, remembering.
Oh, you poor child.
Now, don't you worry. He won't bother you or anyone else for a long time after tonight.
What do you mean, Chief?
Well, tonight's the night that Vincent holds his weekly meeting with the members of his juvenile crime club.
Were you serious about that?
Certainly. Tony Sloan got all the dope on that. And you, Kent, are to meet him in front of Vincent's pawn shop at 9 o'clock with Henderson and the detachment of police to stage a raid on the joint.
Well, what about the Higgins letters?
Well, Tony's got them. He'll turn them over to you following the raid. Oh, and after that, both Martin Higgins and Al Vincent will find themselves where they belong, behind bars.
Hello?
Johnny?
Yeah, who's this?
Chicky. Listen and get this to Al right away. The cops are going to raid Al's clubroom tonight at 9 o'clock.
What?
Shut up and listen. A guy named Tony Sloan, a reporter, is going to be waiting out front for him. He's got the Higgins letters. Got that?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Now get in touch with Al right away and tell him everything I told you. And don't waste no time.
Talking low and fast, Mary Hennig, who is known to her juvenile delinquent associates as Chicky, reports the details of the impending raid on Al Vincent's den of young thieves and puts the finger of doom on Tony Sloan, Daily Planet reporter. Is this to be the crippling blow, the end to Clark Kent's and Perry White's campaign to wipe out the metropolis slums, breeding place of potential young criminals? Don't fail to hear what happens in the next tense and exciting episode. Tune in tomorrow, same time, same station. And remember, for breakfast, it's Kellogg's Pep. For excitement, the adventures of Superman.
Superman is a copyrighted feature appearing in Superman DC comic magazines and is brought to you Monday through Friday at the same time by Kellogg's Pep, the Sunshine Cereal. You know, it wouldn't surprise me, fellers, if your dog sometimes wishes he were you. Then he could tell Mother what he likes to eat. And it wouldn't surprise me if he'd ask for Kellogg's Grow Pup dog food quick. It beats all how many dogs beg for it. Grow Pup has such a swell, meaty flavor. And there are 3 different kinds. There's Grow Pup Ribbon, Grow Pup Meal, and Grow Pup Pellet. They're all mighty tasty and mighty good for your dog. Help give him lots of muscle, strong bones, and teeth. Remind Mother, next time she's marketing, to ask for Kellogg's Grow Pup. And be sure to be with us tomorrow for the thrilling adventures of Superman. This is the Musical Broadcasting System.
Ever dream of a life of romantic adventure? Want to get away from it all? We offer you Escape. Escape, designed to free you from the 4 walls of today for a half hour of high adventure. command of a ship sailing with sealed orders into an ocean fraught with danger, while the enemy whom you seek is lying in wait for the moment when they will close in and strike, leaving you no escape.
Listen now as Escape brings you Anthony Ellis's exciting story, Clear for Action.
Good afternoon, Mr. Stoddard.
Bill, how long do we require to ready your ship for duty?
Why, as long as it takes me to haul anchor, sir. Convoy, Mr. Secretary.
Better than that. You are familiar with these waters?
I know the Caribbean as well as my own quarterdeck.
Excellent. Somewhere in these waters, there is a French sloop of war, the Harfleur. From all available reports, she carries 20 guns, more or less. And she has taken or sunk at least 10 of our merchantmen. She has to be stopped. So we cannot at this time afford war with either France or England. Therefore, you will under no conditions attack, unless absolute proof is offered of an aggression against one of our ships or your own.
Oh.
Exactly.
But she'd hardly be likely to open fire on a merchantman under our noses, sir.
She would not, Captain. But those are your orders.
Yes, sir. When do I sail, sir?
You will proceed with all haste to the Bahamas Group vicinity. The Harfleur seems to operate from a base situated near there.
Very well, sir.
I wish you luck, sir.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon.
Good morning, sir.
Mr. Quinn?
Morning, sir.
Mr. McCrae, you've charted the course?
I have.
Good. We'll get underway immediately. Square away. Mr. McCrae, we should be sighting the island soon, huh?
Aye, sir.
You will have lookout, keep a sharp watch.
Aye, sir.
I'll thank you to order gun crew exercise again this morning.
Aye, sir. Afternoon, sir.
Jonathan?
Making about 7 knots, sir.
Excellent. At this rate,
Quartermaster! Alter your course 2 points to starboard. He's a big one, sir. Close hauled, coming up fast. Better than a frigate, I'd say, sir.
Master! Can you make her colors?
All hands to quarters, please, Mr. McCrae.
Aye, aye, sir. All hands to quarters. Lobsterbacks. She's a ship of the line, sir. 74 guns and she carries 1. Ah, that's what I like. Close on.
I want no trouble with her, Mr. McCrae. But we'll have gun crews to that station.
I'll attend to it myself, sir. And I pray that she fires on it. I don't like it, Captain. She must have seen our colors by now. She's laying a course to pass within range.
Probably wants to hail us, nothing more. Port guns, keep your linstock handy.
Aye, aye, sir.
Mr. McCrae, on the quarterdeck, if you please.
She's shortening sail.
Yes. We'll come about, Helm.
All right, sir.
Mr. Quinn, my speaking trumpet, please.
Good.
Thank you.
Sir, if they let go with a broadside, we're done for. Those must be 42-pounders.
Mr. McCrae, I'm aware of that.
Set us back on course, Captain, and I'll blow on to kingdom come.
Mr. McCrae, unless you have a desire to join the midshipmen, you will allow me to give the orders. Back the main topsail! We'll heave to, Mr. McCrae.
But, sir, we...
Heave to, Mr. McCrae.
Aye, sir. Heave to!
United States frigate Panther of 36 guns. Captain Christopher Steele.
We're sending a long boat to you, Captain. We wish to come aboard.
Very well, sir.
She's the Princess, sir. That would be Rear Admiral Gray. Flagship of the West Indies Squadron, huh? She'll no doubt be wanting to put a first gang aboard her.
Don't worry, Duncan.
I served with them once, and I'll happily kill the first man who tries to make me do it again, sir.
The only way any of my men leave this ship is over my dead body. Have the men stand to quarters, Jonathan.
Aye, sir. You're not going to pipe them over the side, are you, sir?
I am not, Duncan.
Here they come. Will you look at that pipsqueak standing at the stern?
That Duncan is an officer of His Majesty's Navy.
Hey, he looks as though he's been glued together.
Duncan, control yourself. Not a word out of you. That's an order.
Aye, sir. Captain Steele?
Yes?
Lieutenant Simpson of His Majesty's ship Princess.
What can I do for you, Lieutenant?
I shall come to the point, sir. What are you doing in these waters?
I do not see that concerns you, Lieutenant.
England is at war, sir. Any ship concerns us.
So I have noticed.
Exactly what do you mean by that, Captain?
Only that my government has been well aware of your impressment of American seamen into the British Navy.
That is a lie. We impress only English deserters.
A questionable point, Lieutenant.
As a matter of fact, Captain, I have orders to search your ships for just such men.
Impossible.
I beg your pardon?
No, Lieutenant, you may not search. This is a warship of the United States Navy, and may I remind you that only by my courtesy are you at this moment aboard. The interview is over, Lieutenant. You may return to your ship.
What?
Mr. McCrae, you will escort Lieutenant Simpson over the side.
Aye, sir. Warn you, Captain. Come along, Lieutenant. This position will roast. This will confine him with that will grave.
Please send my compliments to the Admiral and tell him that if I ever catch him molesting American ships, I shall consider it an act of piracy. And we'll see that he hangs from his own yardarm.
Well, we shall see about that. I'll have you there. I do not think what the captain... Take your hands up with us,
Our guest is away, sir. Yes, Mr. Quinn, yes. All right, squad away. We're wasting time.
Aye, sir.
Wake up, that makes sense. Hands behind you. Wipe it up.
Oh, they're disappointing. We have to open fire. She's a wonderful target.
Yes, but so are we, Duncan. You'll get your fight all right, but with a half load. Now I don't want to miss my breakfast. Call me when the islands are sighted.
Sir, we've been cruising these islands for 2 days now. Do you think she'd be lying in so close? The British would have spotted her.
I will take no chances, Jonathan.
Fire the mark.
Yeah, 7-7. Mr. McCrae, we'll shorten sail again.
Shoals are dangerous here, Buck, sir. I wonder if...
Oh, there, Jonathan, there. See on that sandstick, you see?
Yeah, I see her.
Yes, but that's not the half load. From her cut, I would judge she's a brig.
All right, sir.
Showing fast, sir.
Whatever she is, she must be aground. We'll run in as close as possible. I want to look at her.
Sir, don't you think that...
Yes, Jonathan?
Nothing, sir.
Good. All right, we'll anchor here.
Aye, sir.
Mr. McCrae?
Aye, sir.
Put the cutter overside and get me a crew.
Hold the anchor.
Oh, sir.
side on. Launch the cutter.
Ship secure, sir.
Jonathan, you will keep us covered with the bow chaser.
Aye, sir. You think it might not be a trap?
Well, it might, but we'll chance it. Watch for my signals. If you sight the Frenchman, put out immediately.
Aye, sir.
Duncan, leave your sea legs here. We're going ashore for a little walk.
We will return to Escape in just a moment. But first, tomorrow night, the Lux Summer Theater stars Fred McMurray. Listen on most of these same CBS radio stations tomorrow night. The Lux Summer Theater. And now, back to Escape.
We're lucky to be alive, I can tell you, sir. Making as peaceful a voyage as you could wish for. Bound home for Providence when we run into a Frenchie.
Fleur, we've been searching for her.
She hit our mizzen when we refused to heave to. Luckily, a squall came up and we lost her.
You were fortunate, Captain.
I put in here for repairs. We hit the shoals and run aground. We're in a mighty fix.
How are your repairs proceeding?
As you'll see, rigging a jury mast now. Bottom's down right enough. But what's a peaceful ship to do, I ask you, sir? Hard being neutral these days.
Well, they are difficult times, Captain. However, rest assured you will reach port safely.
I hope so, sir. I hope so. My cargo's valuable.
She certainly looks trim.
She is, sir. Sweet craft.
I wonder... Sir? Oh, just a thought, McCraig. Just a thought.
There's my daughter. She'll be happy to see you.
Your daughter, sir?
Certainly. Always sails with me. Fine sailor. Jennifer.
Yes, Father.
I want you to meet Captain Steele of the Panther, lying out yonder.
A great pleasure, Captain.
Miss Matthews?
This is Lieutenant McCraig.
You gentlemen are a welcome sight.
Why, thank you, ma'am.
The Panther's after that Frenchie, the half-floor she's called.
Your father tells me you had a brush with her.
Oh, yes, that scurvy, blasted...
Daughter!
Forgive me, Captain. I forgot that ashore I am a lady, or at least supposed to be.
Why, ma'am, I hadn't noticed otherwise.
That, sir, is the prettiest speech I have heard nigh unto 8 months.
Captain Matthews, may we go aboard your vessel?
Of course.
I should like to further discuss the situation with you.
Shot of brandy, sir.
Thank you, yes.
Your health, sir.
And yours, sir. Now, sir. Captain, how would you like to square accounts with the Hartford?
I should like that, sir. I should like that very well.
Well, a plan occurred to me ashore. I must warn you, though, that there's an element of danger both to you and your ship.
Without your presence here, we'd probably never see America again. The Frenchman's still searching for us, there's no doubt.
Yes, exactly. But let us suppose that you became a decoy, the bait in a sea trap.
Go on, sir. Go on.
I think we may safely presume that Hartford does not know of the existence of my ship here in the Caribbean. Now, with your permission, I propose that would be...
Careful with that gun. Steady, bosun. Well done. All right, lock them down, bosun.
Well, that's it, sir.
Thank you, Mr. McCraig.
Handsomely, mister, handsomely. A round of grog for your men with my compliments.
Aye, sir. Thank you, sir. I'll see to it.
4 guns, Captain. 4 guns where there should be none.
Yes, but they must remain well hidden until needed.
I couldn't have believed it. 4 guns from your own ship to the old Salem. Oh, that Frenchman.
Well, we shall see, sir. And now I suggest that we observe Miss Jennifer's progress below, huh?
Aye. What a tale this will make. Herb, you make a powerful-looking woman, Lieutenant.
Father. There. How do you like it, Captain?
A delightful sight. Mistress Quinn, my compliments.
No, sir.
Miss Jennifer, there is no seamstress in Boston to equal you.
Why, thank you, Captain.
We shall go over the plan again, eh? Mr. McCrae, below, if you please.
Aye, sir.
Now then. Mr. Quinn and I will stay aboard the Salem with Captain Matthews.
Well, I'll stick to your gun deck, sir. Why, Mr. Quinn, what a perfectly beautiful gun.
Mr. Quinn is aware of his beauty. We have business, Mr. McCrae.
Aye, sir.
Now, we shall need 20 good men from the Panther, besides the gun crews already with us aboard the Salem. Mr. McCrae, you will be in command of the Panther. If possible, remain within masthead sight of us.
Aye, sir.
Miss Jennifer will sail with you.
Aye, sir.
Yes. Mr. Quinn and the gun crews will be dressed in female costume and will make themselves plain to sight on deck. I hope that will lull the Frenchmen into a sense of security and trust that they will not run out their guns.
Good. Go on, sir.
Now, Salem's fore cannon will be hidden, and to all appearances, she is still the peaceful merchantman.
And this time, when the half-fluid sights us, we heave to.
Yes, correct. You'll no doubt send a boarding party.
Yeah.
And then our ladies engage the boarders, supported by myself and the rest of the men. And I think that is all.
It is to be hoped, gentlemen, that after these preparations, your enemy obliges with her presence.
Yes, ma'am. Now, Mr. McCrae, we'll keg Salem off the shoal immediately, if you please.
Aye, sir.
Mr. Quinn, you may remove your gown now.
Oh, thank you, sir.
And give the men from Panther their orders. I should like to get underway as soon as possible. Everything clear, Mr. McCrae?
Aye, sir.
Very well. And, good luck, Duncan. And you behave yourself.
Aye, sir. Good luck to you. Captain Matthews.
Thank you, lad.
Goodbye, Father. Captain Steele, would you honor me by wearing this ribbon on your sword?
I would be honored, ma'am. Thank you.
Goodbye, Captain.
Mr. McCrae?
Aye, sir. Miss Jennifer, would you allow me to assist you over the side?
Thank you, Lieutenant.
I'll take good care of her, sir.
Mr. McCrae?
Yes, sir.
Well, Captain Matthews, will you give the order to make sail?
Aye. Sail away! And the bonus to the first man to sight the Frenchman!
This waiting. Well, if she's still in these waters, Captain, we'll find her.
Never thought I'd be trained to see a Frenchie, but at this minute I'd give it...
Steady as you go, Helm.
Ready to go, sir.
Mr. Quinn!
Aye, sir.
Get your men into their costumes lively now.
Aye, sir. Yes, that's her. That's our ship, all right.
Mr. Quinn, keep the men away from their guns. We want to arouse no suspicion.
She's seen us. She's tacking over.
Aye. You men below, we've started the chase. Stand at quarters. I want no sound until I give the signal. Helm.
Aye, sir.
We'll broach to. Make her think we're rattled and clumsy and trying to put about.
Aye, sir.
That'll bring our guns to bear on her starboard side, Captain.
Good.
All right, let her fall off, Helm. Easy. Easy now. All right, port a little. Steady. Steady. Ah, well done, man. Steady as you go.
Steady as you go, sir.
Ready, sir. Well, most fetching, Lieutenant. Here, let me adjust your bonnet for you. There, that's better.
Thank you, sir.
That pistol, Lieutenant, makes a bulge where it seems to me no bulge should be.
Oh? Better, sir?
You're a picture of femininity. Now, as soon as the half floor comes up, we heave to. Have your men very distracted. In other words, behave like women, mister.
In the line of duty and seeing you order it, sir, I'll do it.
Thank you, Jonathan. You know what to do when they board.
Aye, sir.
All right, take up your station. I pity the Frenchman who comes over the side to meet Mr. Quinn.
And I, sir, and I.
Back your sail, we're heaving to.
She's on, Mr. Beam.
Don't worry, Captain. They want this ship as a prize.
She's already put over a longboat.
And another one's coming around from the port quarter. I'd be obliged, sir, if you'd go to your cabin. This is our work.
No, sir, this is my ship. I'm not young anymore, but I won't miss this fight.
Very well, sir. And I suggest that you look to the priming of your pistols. Get ready. Here they come.
Hello. Where is your captain?
What's the meaning of this? We're a neutral vessel, American.
This ship is a prize of l'Emperor Napoleon. You will strike your colors.
Not while I'm alive.
Mr. Quinn, return board! Here's your prize! Retreat!
Look out, Jonathan! Thank you, sir.
Will you can spare a moment from your work? I'd be obliged if you'd get those guns put away.
Aye, sir.
Captain Matthews, we'll hoist all sails. He's running out of guns. If they catch us with a broadside, we're done for.
Aye.
Mr. Quinn, you may fire at will. Hard to starboard!
Hard to starboard, sir. She's getting out of range, sir.
Handsomely done, Jonathan. I think we may have scored a hit.
What shall I do with the prisoners, sir?
Have them taken below. We'll transfer them to the Panther. And none too soon. Our floor's wearing into rake us. We'll be in trouble if she can.
Captain, that's your ship closing in.
Yes, the Frenchman's seen her too.
Look, she's standing up. She's done.
Get to your guns, Mr. Quinn. Aim for a mast. We might get a lucky hit.
Aye.
Hard to starboard!
Hard to starboard! She's running, drat her.
Open fire, Mr. Quinn! Open fire!
She's hit! Look, Captain! There goes a missile! She's hit!
Well, I think Panther can take over now. Stand by to go, boat! Break up the canvas!
Miss Jennifer, that was a wonderful dinner.
Yes, it was indeed, ma'am.
Thank you, gentlemen. Captain Steele, did you enjoy it, too?
Yes. Yes, of course, Miss Matthews. Very tasty. Very. Well, I was just thinking, it's getting late.
Oh, no, Captain. You don't have to go yet.
Why, of course not, ma'am.
I'm afraid so. Mr. Quinn stands watch aboard the Panther tonight, and you, Mr. McCrake, have repairs to make on the hearth floor.
Aye, sir.
Aye, sir.
We'll stay home, too, tonight.
Well, good night, Miss Matthews.
Good night.
I'd willingly join the crew sailing for such cooking as yours.
Oh, why, thank you, Lieutenant.
Good night, ma'am.
Good night, Lieutenant Quinn.
Are you coming, sir?
Yes, gentlemen, of course.
But, Captain, don't you remember? You promised to tell me of your exploits at sea.
Oh, yes. Good night, Duncan.
Aye, sir. Good night, sir.
Jonathan.
Good night, sir.
Well, Miss Matthews,
Jennifer, Captain. Jennifer. And now, supposing you start by telling me of your exploits.
Escape has brought you Clear for Action, written and directed by Anthony Ellis, starring William Conrad as Captain Steele. Featured in the cast were Ben Wright, John Daner, John Stevenson, Tudor Owen, Vivi Janis, Richard Peel, and Dave Young. The special music for Escape is composed and directed by Leith Stevens. Next week...
You are running from an unseen enemy, frightened and alone, living from day to day, while your pursuer, unrelenting and murderous, is gaining on you, ready to trap you in a place from which there is no escape.
So listen next week when Escape brings you Charles Smith's exciting story, The Faraway Island. Tomorrow night, where CBS Radio has been bringing you its productions of suspense, listen for the gripping new mystery called Crime Classics. Premiere performance this Monday night on most of these same CBS radio stations. This is Roy Rowan speaking. And remember, for mystery mixed with merriment, join Mr. and Mrs. North Tuesday evenings on the CBS Radio Network.
Everyday grind? Ever dream of a life of romantic adventure? Want to get away from it all? We offer you Escape.
Escape, designed to free you from the four walls of today for a half hour of high adventure.
Running from an unseen enemy, frightened and alone, living from day to day, while your pursuer, unrelenting and murderous, is gaining on you, ready to trap you in a place from which there is no escape.
Listen now as Escape brings you Charles Smith's exciting story, The Faraway Island.
Time is the important thing. If you don't know it now, you will when you've reached the 50 mark. That's why the money was so important. It would give me time. With it, I could return to a life I had lived 6 years before, during the war, on the island of Omoka. tropical sun streamed into my room, making it impossible for me to sleep any longer. The morning breeze carried the heavy odor of rotten fish, and just outside I could hear the goats and chickens. This was Papeete. I'd been there 5 weeks, waiting, making sure I'd lost the man who had followed me from Boston. And now I was sure I had lost him. And in 2 days I would sail for Amoka.
Are you awake, Adam? Good morning. Oh, you lazy man, get up. You promised to buy me breakfast.
Don't let Mama Tita find you here.
Oh, she knows I'm here. She told me where you were, and she said I might wake you.
Give me a cigarette.
How do you feel?
Terrible.
Hey. We shall have breakfast at Quinn's, and you can tell me more about your island.
My island?
Oui, you called it your island.
I drink too much. Never listen to a man when he's under the influence. What else did I tell you last night?
Oh, you talked of your son. How proud you are of him. It was all very boring.
I'm sure. What else?
Oh, nothing. It's going to be a lovely day.
What else, Anise?
You are in love, Captain.
Sure I am. With you.
No.
What makes you so sure?
You mentioned her name last night. It was enough. Just hearing the way you say her name.
Look, you'd know about these things. Is it possible for a man to love a woman he hasn't seen in 6 years?
If he has not seen her, he has had no reason to stop loving her. Now, you get dressed. I'm hungry.
I watched her leave the room, and in watching, compared her to Moeva of Amoka. The Moeva of 6 years ago. It was an unfair comparison. I swung my legs over the side of the bed, stood up, and half an hour later I was stirring my second cup of coffee.
You said last night that you were going to leave Tahiti soon. Is that true, Adam?
Yes, I've waited here long enough.
I do not understand why you waited at all. If I love someone, I do not wait for anything. If I want to go someplace...
More coffee, Anise.
No, thank you. Adam, I will miss you very much. Could you take me to this island with you?
What?
I would be no trouble, even if you do not love me. We could be friends.
No, Anise. You'd find the island very dull. And after a while, you'd find me pretty dull, too.
Oh, please, Adam.
Mr. Adam? Mr. Adam.
Good morning, Joe.
I have been looking every place for you. The hotel, the docks, every place.
Oh, what is it now? Mama Tita worried? She sent you to collect her bill?
Yeah, you're American. What do you think of his money? Sometimes there are more precious things.
Like what?
Like a man's freedom.
All right, you skinny little rat talk.
Oh, put him down, Adam. You're choking him.
Put me down, please. Put me down.
When you talk.
All right. All right, I talk. I was not going to take money for this, but now...
Here.
All right. This morning, early, a ship docked. It has been taking on copra from the islands north of here.
Go on.
I was there at the docks, and...
Keep talking.
This man, this American, I heard him asking questions. Where could he find the American who came here from Tongareva 6 weeks ago?
What makes you so sure he was looking for me?
The man he is seeking is tall. Very tall and very big. And he is about 50 years old.
What did you tell him?
Nothing, monsieur. I was sure you would appreciate it if I told him nothing.
Anise, you still want to go out to that island?
Oui.
There's a ship leaving today for Rarotonga. We'll be on it. that low in the water, its belly full of canned goods for the island. According to the shipping notice, it would sail at high tide. I made arrangements with the captain.
Well, it is a very unusual request, Mynheer
Hamish, Adam Hamish.
Mynheer Hamish, what you are asking me to do. Such a waste.
It's my money.
Oh, I was not referring to the money. But, very well. I will do it.
Good. What time do we pass Morea, Captain?
It will be close to midnight.
You understand the girl is not to know?
Yeah, I understand. I do not approve, but I understand.
An hour later, we weighed anchor, and I saw Joe on the dock. He grinned at me and then scurried away, anxious to report back to the man who had hired him and get a few francs for the information that I had sailed with a niece for Rarotonga. Then the night came bright and clear, and it wasn't long before the great shadow that is Morea Island appeared off our port bow.
Stop board engines. Are you ready, Mynheer?
Yes.
Over here. You have not told the girl?
No.
That is wrong. I hope someday she meets you again.
Maybe she will. Take care of her. See that she gets back safely, will you?
You will have to hurry. We are too close to shore.
Adam?
Now, Mynheer, get in.
Roll away.
Adam, where are you going? Adam, wait! Take me with you! Adam, take me, please! Adam!
2 weeks later, I boarded the only schooner that services Amoka. 5 days out, we put in at another island to pick up a passenger. Then we put out to sea again. I was sitting on deck watching the porpoises race along the side.
Good morning, sir.
Going?
Mind if I join you?
No.
I owe you an apology, you know.
Huh?
I've been staring at you. Hope you didn't notice.
No.
Tell me, is your name Hamish? Adam Hamish?
Yes.
I thought so. Allow me to introduce myself. I'm Crawford, J.C.W. Crawford, Copper, Government Control. I was sure you were Hamish. This chap in Papeete last week described you so perfectly.
Last week in Papeete?
Yes, I flew down to catch the schooner.
This fellow, what did he look like?
Oh, an American chap. Decent sort. Somehow I got the impression he'd just flown in from Rarotonga. I remember he said he'd been off on a wild goose chase looking for you.
The ships that sail the southern waters usually carry a well-stocked armory. The skipper of this one liked rifles, liked them so much that he wouldn't part with one for less than $300. But for my purpose, it was worth the price.
Good shooting. You hit him right forward to the dorsal fin.
There's another over there. Care to have a try?
No, thanks. I'm a rotten shot. Captain says we'll be landing tomorrow. You intend staying on Amoka?
Yes, I do.
Good. I'll have someone to talk to when I come by every couple of months. Have you been there since the war?
No, not since 44.
I hope you won't be disappointed. You know, when you Americans left, it seemed to take the heart out of the people.
Have you ever lived on the island?
Only for a bit in 1949 it was.
Did you ever know a woman called Maeva?
No. Can't say that I did. Native woman?
Uh-huh.
Oh. I see.
Let me tell you about Amoka. The maps say it's an atoll, 12 miles long, surrounded by coral reef, with a passage through the reef to the deep harbor inside. But it's more than that. It's a state of mind. It's peace and contentment. That is what I remembered.
You have come back, Captain Hamish.
Yes.
This house will be as your own until my people have made your house ready.
Thank you, Mano.
You will find many changes, Tane. We are older.
All of us are older. Mano, where will I find Moeva?
She is dead, Tane.
Dead? Maeva?
Yes, Tane. She died a little while after you left the island.
They had buried her on a hill overlooking the bay. I stood for a long time looking at the ground in which she was lying, and in that place the memory of her was sharp and clear, but it was only a memory. Those first days I walked around the island, it wasn't the same. With Maeve, I'd never noticed the flies, the heat, and the quick torrents of rain. But the people hadn't changed. They still walked with an unmatched dignity, and I was glad to be home. 8 weeks later, a schooner sailed through the passage in the reef. Through my binoculars, I could see Crawford on the deck, and standing beside him was a taller man. He was tired of running.
Captain Hamish?
Yes, I see it.
You will go to the dock, Tane?
No, I will wait in my house. Tell your people that if anyone should ask for me, I will be here in my house.
Yes, Tane.
I dropped the thin bamboo, sat down, the rifle crooked across my arm. I watched and I waited until the tall stranger started walking slowly up the beach toward me. When he reached the whitewashed stones that marked the beginning of my land, I raised the rifle to my shoulder. My finger slid across the trigger, and then I saw his face. This man who had followed me across half the world was my own son.
We will return to Escape in just a moment. But first, all Americans, men and women from teenage up, are urged to enroll for Ground Observer Corps service in every locality. You are needed immediately, and the job to be filled is an important one. Write or telephone your nearest Civil Defense Center, or write to Ground Observer Corps, Air Force, Washington 25, D.C. That's your own Civil Defense Center, or Ground Observer Corps, Air Force, Washington 25, D.C. And now, back to Escape.
I sat there watching as my son slowly made his way up the path to my house. Then I went to the door, the rifle still crooked across my arm. You're a fool! I could have killed you easily.
You still can't. Do it now. You'll never get another chance. Well, what are you waiting for?
Paul!
You know why I'm here. Take you back.
You're ready. We'll leave now. If not, you better use that rifle. What's it going to be?
I'm staying here, Paul.
Are you sure?
We fought silently as men do who are convinced their cause is right. He was taller than I remembered and heavier, but he lived too much in the city. It didn't last long. I took some rope and bound his arms and legs, and then I threw a cup of water in his face. Come on, snap out of it. You're not hurt.
Well. Oh. Not taking any chances, are you?
No.
Think the schooner will leave without me?
Yes. We might as well make the best of this, Paul. We're going to be stuck here together for 2 months.
On time?
I will. after the schooner has cleared the harbor. It started to rain. For a long time, he didn't say anything. He just sat there staring at me, filled with hate. Then...
How much of the money do you still have?
About $2,200.
That's beautiful.
It's my funeral.
Sure, your funeral. You embezzled $10,000. You say it's your funeral. Everything's fine.
You shouldn't have come after me, Paul.
I didn't want to. I tried to forget I had a father. And I would have if the police and the company, our friends, would have let me.
I'm sorry.
You never thought about what would happen to me, did you? That I couldn't get a job in town anymore, the way people looked at me, because you weren't there to look at.
I'm sorry.
Sure.
Who sent you after me? The bonding company?
Nobody sent me. It was my own idea. I want to drag you back so I can live my own life again, not share yours. What made you do it? Why did you do it?
You wouldn't understand even if I told you.
Why not?
Because you're too young. I cut him loose that night, and the next morning I showed him around the island. He walked among the people of Amoka. He watched the palms swaying in the gentle breeze. He looked at the beauty of the island, but he didn't really see any of it.
Here. This spot here. They should do it.
Should do what? What are you talking about?
A spot of ground. Not too far from the village. It's clear of brush. I can build my house here.
Your house?
You didn't think I'd stay with you.
I guess not. In a few more minutes, we'd reached the copra grove and were standing before the kiln that's used to bake the meat from the shell of the coconuts.
Well?
You'll work here in the grove. You can have your choice of jobs. Planting the young trees, packing the copra for shipping, or keeping the grove clean. Take your pick.
Suppose I'd rather not work.
Then you won't eat. Amano!
Yes, Tommy?
This is my son, Amano. He used to work in the grove.
Yes, Tommy.
He'll start tomorrow, but today I want him to enjoy himself. I'd like it if one of your sons would take him fishing.
Yes, Tommy. But if he does not wish to go?
Well?
I've heard stories about the fishing down here. I'll go.
Good.
How do I call you, young captain?
Paul. My name is Paul.
Whiskey?
Yeah, please.
Here.
Thanks.
Amano tells me you hooked into some tuna.
It's starting to run.
You said you're quite a fisherman. I didn't know that.
There's a lot you don't know about me.
We never had much of a chance to get acquainted, did we? Between the war, then when I came home, not much of a chance.
No, not much.
Have you decided about your work in the grove? What you want to do?
Amano said that apprentices start by keeping the grove clear of weeds. I'll do that.
His hands were raw and bleeding when he came in from the grove that first day. But by the end of the second week, his hands and his body toughened. And then he left the hut the chief had let him use. He'd completed his own. We didn't see much of each other after that. And then, the night of the Kai to celebrate the great catch of tuna.
Your son is well liked by my people, Hamish Tane.
Well, thank you, Amano.
He has done well in the grove. They have made him planter of the young trees.
I saw him working among the trees yesterday.
Do not worry about his feelings toward you. His head is not clear. He is young.
Has he mentioned leaving the island?
He counts the days. He says you will both leave when the ship sails. Tane, look there.
I looked and saw Paul standing beside a beautiful girl. She was wearing a frangipani blossom behind her right ear. They talked earnestly for a moment, and then she laughed and he laughed. I saw the girl the next day. The blossom was behind her left ear. The days and weeks passed. And then there was only a week left before the schooner would return.
Hamish, Tane. Wake up, Hamish, Tane.
Huh? What is it?
The copra, the grove, insects, Tane. Many, many insects that will destroy the grove.
Come on! There are 100 things that can happen to a grove of young trees, and the worst of them is the invasion of these tiny, vicious termites. No one knows where they come from. They appear suddenly and without warning, and there's only one thing to do. You burn the young trees that are infected.
And here, Tane, this one.
Bring that kerosene over here. Here, give me that. All right, get back, Amano.
What are you doing? He's crazy. Over here, Tane.
Why are you doing it? Stop it.
Hurry, Tane.
Bring the kerosene, Paul.
No, I won't let you do it. I won't let you burn the grove.
Tane. Get out of my way.
I said no.
I opened my eyes to see Paul and Amano standing over me. I got up and looked at the grove, what remained of it, and quickly turned my head away.
I'm sorry. I didn't understand. I thought you wanted to destroy it.
It's all right. Forget it.
What do we do about the grove? People have worked so hard, they'll have to start over now.
Yes.
Well, come on. I'll take you to your house.
I stayed close to the house for the rest of the week. I was tired, and I'd made up my mind what I wanted to do. Then the schooner sailed through the reef. I packed my things and went down to the dock. I knew Paul would be waiting to take me back.
You came down early.
Yes. Aren't you ready? Where's your bag?
I'm not going.
What?
I'm staying here. I decided to marry Althea.
You've given this some thought. You're sure?
Yes. Look, I don't know if this will help, but once you told me I was too young to understand why you had to come back here, even if you had to steal to do it. Well, I understand now. And if you want to stay...
No, I want to go back. Set things right.
Look, you don't have to.
I know.
You remember that we're here waiting for you?
I'll remember.
We'll keep your house ready. You won't be away too long. You'll come back, Dad.
I went aboard the schooner and watched as he walked back toward the village. At the end of the pier, a slim figure joined him. They crossed the beach and went out of sight into the ponds. The girl, Althea, and my son, Paul.
Under the direction of Anthony Ellis, Escape has brought you The Faraway Island by Charles Smith, starring Ted DeCorsia as Adam. Featured in the cast were Anthony Barrett, Edgar Beria, Marion Richmond, Vic Perrin, Jack Crucian, and Richard Peel. The special music for Escape is composed and conducted by Leith Stevens. Next week.
You are alone with a murderer, a man who has killed your brother, and against whom you have sworn revenge. While unknown to you, your enemy is plotting his own move, which, if it succeeds, will mean defeat for you, and an end from which there is no escape.
So listen next week when Escape brings you Peter B. Kine's exciting story, 1/8 Apache. Lovely Dorothy McGuire, star of Broadway and Hollywood, will be heard on CBS Radio tomorrow evening in a dramatic story entitled The Fall of Maggie Phillips. It's another in your Lux Summer Theater series, so be listening for it tomorrow night on most of these same stations. The Fall of Maggie Phillips, starring Dorothy McGuire. This is George Walsh speaking. And remember, for suspense all summer, hear Crime Classics Monday nights on the CBS Radio Network.
Wheat checks, rice checks, and good hot Ralston present Space Patrol! High adventure in the wild, vast reaches of space. Missions of daring in the name of interplanetary justice. Travel into the future with Buzz Corey, Commander-in-Chief of the Space Patrol! And now, today's exciting Space Patrol adventure, Return to Planet X. A blasted heap of rubble. That's all that remains of the camouflaged launching base on Jupiter Moon number 4, aiming point from which Prince Baccarati planned to hurl guided missiles across 500,000 miles of space to destroy 2 key cities on the planet Jupiter. Last week, we learned how Commander Corey and Cadet Happy arrived just in time to blast the missile chutes and control blockhouse to bits with a space torpedo from the Terra 5. It's now a few moments later. Buzz and Happy have landed on Moon number 4, while the last grains of dust from the explosion are falling swiftly to the surface of the airless satellite. Wearing spacesuits and carrying portable disintegrators, they cautiously approach the shattered structure.
Take it easy, Hap. Don't go charging into that mess.
Okay, Commander. But you don't think anybody can still be alive in that wreckage?
I think we've learned not to take anything for granted where Baccarati is concerned. Whoever was in that control station may have been wearing a spacesuit.
You're right.
This looks like a chunk of control panel now. Let's get to work with the disintegrators.
Yes, sir.
Remember, if there's someone alive under this masonry, we want to keep them that way. So don't blast too deep with the disintegrator. Just reduce the chunks of concrete to the size we can lift.
Yes, sir. Nothing under that chunk.
Try that one over there.
Many feet below the surface of the moon, right under where Buzz and Happy are searching for survivors, Prince Baccarati and Dr. Malengo huddle in the corner of an underground room.
What was that? I don't know, Your Highness. Perhaps they have found a passage leading down to this escape tunnel. Go to the connecting door and investigate.
Very well, Your Highness.
Well, can you see through the peephole?
Yeah, that's
thought had happened. Perhaps didn't be advisable now to go down to the other end of the passage to the spaceship? There is no hurry. We can blast off until we're sure there's no space patrol ship watching this part of the moon. However, we can work our way down toward the center of the planet.
Hold it, Happy. Turn it off.
What is it, Commander?
Now look at this. I found it near a piece of the control panel.
An electrode pin.
Yes, the pad of sensitized plastic with some computations on it.
Robots build electrode pins. Somebody was here.
The pen has an emblem on it. Black Falcon.
Prince Baccarati.
Cap, look at the writing on this pad. He blew up this launching station just in time. At 1827 Universal Star Time, Baccarati was going to launch a guided missile to blow up Kepler City, Jupiter.
Wow, then he must have been ready to fire it just as we zoomed in.
The question now is, what happened to Baccarati?
Disintegrated enough of the wreckage to know he isn't here.
If he had escaped across the surface in a spacesuit, we surely would have spotted him.
Yeah.
And that leaves just one alternative. There must have been a trapdoor under the floor of the control blockhouse.
A sort of double protection. A cellar.
Probably more than that. Very likely there's an underground hangar that can be reached from this blockhouse through a tunnel.
And he may already be ready to blast off the moon.
Have you get back to work with the disintegrator and look for the entrance to the escape tunnel. I'll go back to the ship and call for a patrol squadron to watch the British ships blasting off. Hap, how you doing?
I think I found it, Commander.
Let's have a look. You're right. That's the metal framework of a trapdoor.
Another short blast will clear the rest of the rubble away, sir.
Yes, there's a stairway. Bring your disintegrator, Hap. You may need it down there.
All right, Commander.
There's a metal door, Hap. Let's see if we can open it.
An airlock.
Get in and close the door, Hap. Let's check these indicators. Here's a gauge for passage air pressure. 0.8 atmosphere.
Then Baccarati wouldn't need a spacesuit inside the tunnel.
Right. We can open our faceplates after we open the inner door.
Better close the door behind us, Hap. Wow, what a tunnel. I wonder how far it goes. Possibly a couple of miles, perhaps more. Let's get going. We have quite a hike ahead of us. Durango, what's the matter with you? Stop pacing back and forth. I'm sorry, Your Highness. I feel uneasy. What about? I don't know. I suppose it's being imprisoned in this tunnel. What do you mean imprisoned? In a few minutes, we'll be in a spaceship on our way back to Planet X. Of course, Your Highness, you're right. But suppose the Space Patrol does discover the hangar entrance to the tunnel. If they stop manufacturing trouble. The hangar entrance is well camouflaged. The thing for us to do is plan what we're going to do when we get back to Planet X. Our number one project, of course, will be to get rid of Commander Corey. It shall receive my entire attention, Your Highness. Good. That will leave me free to solve our difficulties with our captive natives in the Arctic region of Planet X. That has been worrying me, too. When we last left Planet X, they were on the verge of revolt. We simply must keep those enduring mines in full production. Already I'm weeks behind in my timetable of conquest. There must be some way to terrify those natives into more effort. It is unfortunate, Your Highness, that some of your own men, your guards and supervisors, are not cooperating as they should. Listen. What's that? Someone's in the tunnel. They've discovered our spaceship. Wait, listen. Take a look through the door of this compartment toward the blockhouse end of the tunnel. See anything? It's very dim, Excellency. I thought I saw some shadows. Get away from the people. There is somebody in the tunnel. They just come through the door from the other compartment. Nothing. Space patrolmen, obviously. Who else could they be? Better rush to the ship. Let's finish them off. Get me a blast gun from the rock. It's tunnel line and twist so much. I've lost all sense of direction.
Judging by the upward slope of the fall, we're not far from the end of it.
Hit the ground, Hap. It's a blast now. Baccarati, see us.
Shot my body down. Coming at the center before he fires again.
I dropped it when I hit the floor, sir. It's out of reach. I'll get it. Get down, Hap.
I've got you now, Corey. All I got to do is keep blasting away till I hit you.
We'll return to Space Patrol in just a moment. And now, gang, the most exciting news ever revealed on Space Patrol. News about a gigantic contest that's going to shake this planet like an earthquake. News about the biggest prize ever given away to any boy or girl. A prize that's going to rock you like a thundering explosion. And that prize is Commander Corey's own rocket ship. Yes, Space Patrollers, Commander Corey is actually giving away his great silver and scarlet spaceship, Chara 4, giving it away to some lucky boy or girl. Now, just imagine, a huge 10,000-pound all-metal spaceship, 35 feet long, almost as big as a house. And that's exactly what it is, a clubhouse on wheels. Now, just think, a rolling rocket clubhouse, especially equipped with lights, wheel sleeping bunks, space lockers, even a cooking stove, and a giant truck to pull it. Take you and your pals anywhere you want to go. Can't you just see yourself zooming down the road toward high adventure, headed out camping, hiking, on sightseeing trips aboard your rocket clubhouse on wheels? And here's something else you want to see. Dollar bills. $1,500 bills. $1,500 that comes as first prize along with the rocket clubhouse. That's right. The first prize in this terrific contest is a gigantic rocket clubhouse and a rail truck and $1,500. Now, that's what one of you Space Patrollers will win. Say, here comes Carol with something that 750 of you are going to win. Second prize, 750 Schwinn varsity bicycles.
Terrific fight, Space Patrollers. Schwinn, America's best, with 3-speed gear shift and 2 for your handbrakes.
And third prize, 1,000 third prizes, 1,000 pieces of regulation Space Patrol equipment, 250 autosonic rifles,
250 outer space helmets,
250 emergency kits,
and 250 beautiful Space Patrol wristwatches.
Now, Space Patrollers, it takes only one word to win Buzz Corey's rocket ship or a Schwinn bike or one of 1,000 other swell prizes. Now, sit tight, because right after today's Space Patrol adventure, I'm going to tell you about the one word that can bring you the great rocket clubhouse rolling up to your home. And now, back to our Space Patrol adventure. Return to Planet X. Buzz and Happy are in a tunnel on the fourth moon of Jupiter, trying to overtake Prince Baccarati before he can escape from Planet X. Baccarati and Dr. Malengro have discovered the 2 Space Patrolmen. Through a compartment door in the tunnel, Baccarati is firing into a dim passageway with a blast gun. Lying flat on the floor near a stack of crates, Buzz and Happy so far have not been injured.
Well, that was close, Commander.
You'll get us sure. Let's go. Roll to the right behind those crates. Hurry.
There. If I only hadn't dropped that disintegrator.
Probably wouldn't hit Baccarati from this distance anyway.
Hurry! No use! I can't see you now, so you're probably behind a stack of crates. But that's not going to protect you.
Well, I'm lucky I had this spacesuit helmet on, sir. That last shot clipped a chunk of crate right next to my head.
As we think of something, Baccarati can just take his time and blast these crates away till he gets us.
If we were only a little closer to him, we could rush him. Hey, maybe we could goad him into coming toward us.
No, not Baccarati. He doesn't take unnecessary chances. Here, this might do it. This big metal drum. Rocket fuel. Help me drag it out into the passage.
But, sir, if you think the whole tunnel will blow up.
Exactly. Remember now, a full container of fuel is very heavy. Give me a hand.
Yes, sir. But, sir, this is...
Quiet. Better hold your fire, Baccarati.
Oh, you want to surrender, I suppose.
No, I'm just warning you. We're pushing a drum of rocket fuel out into the tunnel.
Hit that with your blast gun, and you'll be shot through this tunnel like a torpedo through a space cannon.
You're bluffing. You'd be killed, too.
You're determined to finish us off anyway. Come on, Happy, push it out. Roll it toward Baccarati. Yes. All right, Baccarati, go ahead and shoot.
You can stay in the tunnel.
He's given up, sir. He's locked the compartment. Stay behind the fuel zone, Hap. Roll it to the door. Yes, sir. I can keep moving now. Get the disintegrator. Here's the disintegrator, sir. Give the door a blast. Yes, sir. Something's wrong. It won't work. Falls with the stone floor, probably broke the discharge mechanism. Gone, and now we'll have to go clear back to the other end of the tunnel for the other disintegrator. By that time, Baccarati will probably have reached the spaceship. Let's get back to our ship, Happy. Hey, Commander, I'd like to ask you something. Sure, Hap. Well, don't you feel well? I mean, do you feel weak or something? No, why? Well, that fuel room. I could have lifted it easily by myself. It was empty. Sure it was, huh? Come on, let's hurry back to the ship.
Meanwhile, Baccarati and Malengro have reached the other end of the tunnel where a small spaceship sits poised, its sharp nose almost touching the heavy metal gate that seals the entrance of the hangar. With a last glance down the tunnel, Baccarati climbs into the ship, followed by Malengro. Quickly, the Prince presses a button that operates the remote control mechanism, and the huge gates slide back. Through the nose port, the two men look out into a black curtain of space dotted with bright, unwinking stars.
Put on the viewscope, Malengo. We'll see if any spaceships are out there before we blast off.
Yes, Your Highness.
We can't cover a very wide angle while we're still in the tunnel, but if it looks clear, we'll have to risk a blast off.
There are no patrol ships visible, Your Highness.
All right, we're blasting off. And I hope Corey managed to break through that compartment door back there. In fact, I hope he's right behind our ship when I cut on our rockets. Good. With our radar foil covered hull, we can confuse their view scope. Well, to contact my castle, Planet X, and report that I'm returning. Prince Baccarati calling Black Falcon Castle on Planet X. Prince Baccarati to number 1 tower. Report immediately.
Black Falcon Castle to Your Highness, Prince Baccarati. Murdoch speaking and awaiting your orders, sire.
I'm returning to Planet X in a Class B space cruiser. Alert the defense stations to expect my code signal at the outer perimeter.
Yes, Your Highness.
Do you have anything to report?
Well, yes, Your Highness. It's in regard to the Aguria mine situation at the polar cap.
Well, let's have it, Murdoch.
Production in Mine Area 5 is at a complete standstill.
Standstill? Why?
There's been a large-scale revolt. 6 labor battalions refused to work.
That's against my law. Tell the supervisors to drive the ringleaders out into the ice cap without food or protective clothing.
Your Excellency, the supervisors, I regret to report this, sire, but the supervisors have sided with the slaves. They refuse to enforce that order.
That's unheard of. Refusing to obey the orders of Prince Baccarati. All right. If that's the way they're going to play, I'll wipe them all out. Turn on the atomic heat reflectors at Mine Area 5. Have the brazier. Do you understand? Turn them all like that. Turn on the heat reflector.
Put it out. Put it safe and we'll do as they're told. I'll tolerate no insubordination. Stand there? Yes, sir. Then obey. Prince Baccarati out.
That mass murdering rat. Baccarati knows that. He's the most dangerous psychopathic tyrant in the history of the solar system. How are we going to prevent those mines from being flooded? If any of our ships go near Planet X, they'll be destroyed. You'll maintain this distance from Baccarati's ship. Fortunately, we're close enough to detect his rocket blast, even with a radar foil producing interference in our viewscope. If we close in on him now, we could capture him before any of his own ships could come to us. But I want him to feel that he's perfectly safe until the last minute. We'll let him notify Planet X of his estimated arrival time, and we'll start spaceophone interference. Then he won't be able to call for help. No, neither will we. It'll be a battle just between us and Baccarati. On through the endless reaches of space, Buzz and Happy trailed Prince Baccarati.
whose ship appears in their viewscope as a tiny dot of flame surrounded by a shapeless blur, the effect of the radar port. Finally, both ships are far beyond the orbit of Pluto. Then, as they near the outer defense perimeter of Planet X, Buzz increases acceleration. In his small cruiser, Baccarati smiles triumphantly at Dr. Malenko.
We're safe now. Even if any space patrol ships knew we were here, they wouldn't dare attack this close to my old defenses.
Again, Your Highness. You have outwitted Commander Cole.
I'm going to contact Murdoch at the castle. See if mine Area 5 has been flooded out.
Hasn't been time yet, Your Highness. It will take several hours for the floodwaters to reach the mines.
Well, it won't hurt to let them know I'm keeping tab on them. Confound it. I know it's interference, but what could be causing it?
It is getting our frequencies, and they must be very close.
The viewscope. Look. The ship is closing in on us. Blanco, why haven't you been watching?
I thought we were clear, Your Highness. You yourself said
the space patrol ship. Commander Corey. And we can't call for help from my defenses because of this blasted jamming signal. Probably been on our trail ever since we blasted off from Jupiter's fourth moon. Well, if he wants to fight, he'll get it.
The ship isn't too heavily armed, Your Highness.
Oh, one lucky shot might do it. Take the controls, Malenko. I'll mend the tape.
We're awfully close, sir, and I don't think he's seen us yet.
He may just be waiting till we get close enough to fire at it.
So that little ship couldn't have much armament, sir.
Uh-oh. Fire a space torpedo close to his port side, Hap. Let him know we mean business, too.
Yes, sir.
Nice going, Hap. That came close enough to scrape the radar foil off his hull. I'll cut our interference down to 20 units. We can talk to him without Planet X picking us up.
Yes, sir. Now, I'll set you.
Baccarati, this is Commander Corey. Surrender, or our next torpedo will blast your rocket assembly.
It's Baccarati, Planet X emergency.
They won't hear you, Baccarati. This is a private conversation between you and me. Do you surrender, or do you want Cadet Happy to demonstrate his skill at space gunnery?
All right, Corey. You win.
Now listen, Baccarati. I'm going to join airlocks with your ship, and I'm coming aboard. Don't try anything.
All right, Commander.
Okay, Hap, you take the controls. I'll board Baccarati's ship.
A few moments later, the Terra 5 joins airlocks to Baccarati's cruiser. While Happy remains at the controls, Buzz enters Baccarati's ship with his ray gun ready for action.
All right, Baccarati. Just leave the controls as we are. Stand there beside Malenko with your hands up.
Very well, Commander. I'll surrender gracefully.
Take me to Terra.
I've got news for you, Baccarati. You're going on to Planet X in your ship.
I don't understand.
I heard you ordered the glacier melted to flood the mine. I'm going to see that you stop that mass murder. And the only way I can be sure is to take you to Planet X.
But if they see your ship, my men may destroy us all.
I'm notifying Pluto's Space Patrol to pick up Terra 5 and take it to Pluto. Our interference is beamed only toward Planet X, so your cutthroats won't hear a word.
Within a few moments, the Terra 5 is headed back toward Pluto on automatic pilot to be intercepted by Space Patrol ships. Meantime, Baccarati's cruiser, with Buzz and Happy aboard, proceeds toward Planet X.
All right, Baccarati. I think it's time you reported to Murdoch at your castle. And get this straight. You'll regret it if you attempt to warn them, understand?
Yes, sir.
Get a report on the heat reflectors near Mine Area 5. Then tell Murdoch you're heading for the polar cap to watch the fun. Got that?
I'll tell him I'm not landing at the castle first, but I'm going to the polar ice.
That's right. Now, I'll turn on your spaceophone and watch what you say.
Prince Baccarati to Murdoch at Black Falcon's castle, Planet X. Prince Baccarati to Planet X.
Murdoch to His Highness, Prince Baccarati. We tried to reach you before, but there was some interference.
Yes, I noticed it. Did you follow my orders regarding Mine Area 5?
The letter, Your Highness. The heat reflectors were started by remote control. Of course, it will be several hours yet before the flood water reaches the mine.
I understand. Murdoch, when I enter the atmosphere of Planet X, I'll proceed at once to the ice cap. I want to inspect the results. That's all, Murdoch.
From a dozen control towers on the enormous Planet X, viewscope beams probe out into space and feel with electronic fingers the contour of Baccarati's ship. Electronic ears listen critically to the identification frequency radiated from the small cruiser, and then let the ship proceed unchallenged. The watchdogs have recognized their master's voice, and having done their duty, watch and listen for remote ships and sounds that may approach over the infinite horizon of space. Then, within the atmosphere of Planet X, Buzz Corey heads Baccarati's ship for the northern polar regions. Visible in the dim light are the atomic heat reflectors and the surging, steaming waters that roar down from the glacier into the valley toward Mine Area 5.
Smoking rockets, Commander. It's a regular flood.
Yes, unless it stops, 10,000 people will meet a horrible death.
Well, can't you order Baccarati to tell Murdoch to cut off the heat reflectors?
I could, but it would be out of character for Baccarati to commit an act of mercy.
I see what you mean. Murdoch might get suspicious.
Alert the whole planet that the big boss might be in trouble. We'll blast those towers out of operation, Hap. Stand by to fire the space cannon.
Standing by. Corey, listen. Those towers can be replaced. I've millions of credits invested.
Quiet, Baccarati. I'm thinking of 10,000 lives that can't be replaced.
But they're subhuman natives of Planet X, most of them. Almost savages. Yeah, look who's talking about savages. The worst of them is worth 100 of you, Baccarati.
Fire! Well, that did it, Hap. We got all of them with one shot.
Yeah, but, Commander, the water's still pouring down off the glacier.
It will for a while, but with that intense cold down there, it'll freeze back into ice before it reaches the mine.
Hey, quit looking so sour, Baccarati. You ought to be grateful. We just saved you from destroying 10,000 people.
They won't obey me. If they're men enough not to obey you, I'd say they're well worth saving. And that's just what you're going to do, Baccarati. You're going to free them and return them to their homes and families. Get on that spaceophone and order all your ships here at once. An action preview of next week's exciting Space Patrol adventure in just a moment. Now, here it is, Space Patrollers. The one word that can win you a giant rocket clubhouse and $1,500. And that word is a name for Planet X, the terrifying new planet Commander Corey is investigating. A name for Planet X, home of the evil Prince Baccarati, arch enemy of the Space Patrol. Now, gang, here's how to enter the Name the Planet contest. And Space Patrollers, in this contest, everyone can get a free prize right away. Just go to the nearest Weatherbird shoe dealer. Maybe Mom or Dad can go with you. The Weatherbird shoe man will give you your free prize, a handsome interplanetary coin album with 3 swell space coins inside. And along with the album, your Name the Planet contest entry blank. You can also find out how to enter by looking on the back of a package of Good Hot Ralston. That's the new package with a picture of Commander Corey or Cadet Happy on the front. So, blast off, Space Patrollers. Get your free coin album entry blank and enter the Space Patrol Name the Planet contest today at your Weatherbird shoe dealers. And now, a preview of next week's exciting Space Patrol adventure. Buzz and Happy are in the frozen polar region of Planet X. Pursuing Prince Baccarati into the shaft of an Anjuria mine, they're unaware of a huge figure lurking behind a shoulder of rock. Baccarati and the Langro are in here, all right. I hear them down the shaft.
Shall I use my atomo lights?
Not yet, Papa. Move as quietly as you can.
The shaft doesn't have any side passages.
Happy, what's the matter?
Something got me. It's lifting me off the ground.
It's a giant native.
Crushing my chest.
I'll give him a blast with my ray gun.
Oh, you big fuzzy gorilla. Finish them off, Granu. Finish them.
Be sure to join us again next week for the thrilling story on the ice cap of Planet X, when Wheat Checks, Rice Checks, and Good Hot Ralston again present Space Patrol. Space Patrol, created by Mike Moser, starring Ed Kemmer as Commander Corey and Lynn Osborne as Cadet Happy, was written by Lou Houston, produced and directed by Larry Robertson, executive producer Mike Debris. Other players were Bela Kovach, Norman Jolly, Ken Mayer, and Virginia Hewitt. Dick Tufeld speaking. Now, don't forget to tune in next Saturday and every Saturday when Wheat Checks, Rice Checks, and Good Hot Ralston again present Space Patrol. Here's the story of the fastest plane of its kind in the world, with a word from the man who test flies it, Joe Lynch. It's the Air Force F-86D Sabre Jet Interceptor, designed by North American Aviation, Los Angeles. The Sabre holds the world speed record at 715.7 miles per hour. Wingspan is 37 feet, length 41, cruising range 500 miles, climbing speed 300 miles per hour. Now, by special tape recording, made at International Airport, the well-known test pilot of the Sabre, Joe Lynch.
The D is a one-man interceptor, so when you fly it, you're really on your own. That's why I see to it that I'm in good condition all the time. And one way to stay in good condition is by eating a good breakfast cereal, like Rice Chex or Wheat Chex. They're just packed full of energy, and they taste swell. I think you'll like them, too.
No other cereal, puff or flake, contains so much nourishment in such concentrated bite-sized form. Rice Chex, Wheat Chex. Be sure to see another exciting Space Patrol program on your local ABC television station. Consult your local paper for time and channel. This program is broadcast to our armed forces overseas through the worldwide facilities of the Armed Forces Radio Service. Space Patrol came to you transcribed from Hollywood. This is ABC Radio Network.